It's a warm afternoon at Perth Stadium. Sunny, 29 degrees as these two sides who have spent so long down the foot of the ladder look to continue to build back into relevance. North Melbourne trying to go 2 from 2. The Eagles looking to follow on from a terrific performance against Gold Coast in the second half last week. They went down by 59 points, but they trailed by 69 3 minutes into the second half. Can they continue to build on that? Of course, 2 number 1 draft picks out there for West Coast. Harley Reid from 2023 and now Willem Dersma. There will be the Dersma battle at some stage, you would imagine as well. Zane Dersma, his 25th game for North Melbourne. Which way are you tipping? Jared?
I'm going to have to go West Coast in this one. But, yeah, look, it's really a flip of a coin, but I'll go in West Coast. It's interesting just to notice Tom McCarthy at half-back there. Been starting the midfield, but McCarthy's gone the half-back, which is interesting. Try and get him a bit of run-off half-back, maybe.
Muddy?
Well, Jake's picked up his old mate,
Griffin Logue,
so that'll be interesting.
Ball up in the middle. Sherry v. Flynn. It's the win for the Eagles. Got the tap down, but Davies Uniacke got the first clearance. Kick towards half forward. Off hands. Robertson applied the tackle for West Coast. Allowed Baker to give it to Harley Reid. Little fend off. Back to Baker by hand through the middle kick. Under pressure was a scrubber. Allows Daniel to come in and gather for North Melbourne. Handball to Sheasel. Then through to O'Sullivan. Now through to Zerha, who looking to break a tackle. Thought he caught one high. Umpire said play on. He's gone down on the wing, Zerha. As North surge it forward. Baker, back with a bit of courage, was able to gather. Now go wide by hand down the southern wing to Allen. Kicks up towards half forward. Off hands over the back. Waterman and Lowe go head to head. Lowe wins this time. Pushes Waterman off the ball. Handballs to Daniel. Combin's kick. Straight back towards West Coast. Won by Allen. Handball inside to Hoff. Now to Graham. West Coast inside the forward 50. Kick finds the target in Dersma. And the battle of the Dersmas. Willem Dersma has the first chance to impact the game. He'll have a set shot from just better than a 45-degree angle to the right. He'll kick from outside 50.
You dodged the question, Muddy. Who wins this one?
Oh, okay. You did ask that. I'm going West Coast.
Okay.
No one's scored yet, so that's still a fair tip.
That's why I asked then.
Willem Dersma looking for his first goal in AFL football. Kick is a beauty off the boots, and they come from everywhere. The number 1 draft pick has his first goal at the top level, and he does it in front of his new home fans. And every single Eagles player on the field gets around him. Welcome to the big time, Willem Dersma. That'll make him love you. 1 straight 6, the Eagles, North Melbourne, yet to score. Less than 2 minutes played in the first term here for ABC Sport. Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield are our experts.
I don't know what happened out in the wing with Cam Zerha, but he stayed down for a bit, and that just gave West Coast that extra ball around the contest. And Baker's been very busy at the start, so they're looking, as Scully said, they're looking to get some run from their back half.
Yeah, no, they definitely look sharp. As I said, if they win the contest, how they sort of rip forward off turnover, they're able to get that advantage forward of the ball, and they look dangerous on that offensive play.
Cash photo downstairs.
Yeah, Griffin Logue has just headed down into the rooms for North Melbourne as well, and for Cam Zerha, it was a right shoulder sort of issue.
And a great kick from O'Sullivan as he tried to bring the ball away. It comes straight to McCarthy for the Eagles. Here's Robinson to Dersma for the Eagles, then back to Robertson. Not a great kick. He'll go back and get it after it was tapped to him by Baker. Robertson just forward of the wing. High kick across half forward. It's ill-directed. Easy mark. Stevens underneath it for the Kangaroos. He'll flare it out into the right back pocket. And a chance to build up again here for North Melbourne. Combin, 10 coaches' votes last week for the Kangaroos. Kicks beyond defensive 50 to the southern wing. Good battle there. Young got a hand to it. Spills down. Curtis going by. Hands it off to Powell. Juggles the bouncing ball, eventually picks it up. Advantage being taken here by North. They thump it long by Dersma inside forward 50, or Zerha rather. And Larkey, great mark at right full forward. Good mark to Larkey. We know how strong he is. The new captain for 2026 for North Melbourne. And he'll go back and have a shot from no more than 20 out. 45-degree angle to the right.
Yeah, this will go back to that Devon Robinson dump inside. He just needs to do more with the ball, Dev, and that's probably a knock on his game. He's just got to think a bit more about what to do with the ball when he's got it.
4 goals last week, Larkey. And he puts his name on the goal kickers list early doors here at Perth Stadium. Scores level. Less than 4 minutes played in the opening term. The Eagles are 1 straight 6. Thanks to Larkey. The Kangaroos 1 straight 6. Our experts, premiership players, both of them, Jared Schofield and Chris Waterman.
The other player in that was Paul Curtis, Scully. He's become a handful for anyone down on that half-forward line. They need to really match up on him well. I'm not sure who's got him at the moment. I'd say Brady Hoff is going to him. Probably a good matchup.
Yeah, it looks like it at the moment, and Curtis has always caused West Coast trouble because he's very good on one-on-ones, but he can get out the back. But as I was just talking previously about their speed of ball movement, West Coast, if they get it wrong, you can get counted on the flip side. And you can see Dev Robinson looking to use their hands, and that's what I've noticed already. They're trying to use their hands, but obviously dumped that ball and they got done on turnover.
It was Edwards on Larkey, but in that contest it ended up being Jinby, so not the matchup the Eagles are hoping for. Back in the middle, free kick from the ruck. Infringement goes the way of the Eagles. Graham takes the advantage, kicks inside the forward 50. Big pack flies off hands. McDonald comes down with it. Play on, tackled by Waterman. Ball up in the left forward pocket. City end of the ground here at Perth Stadium, under the shade. Ball tossed up. Sherry and Flynn have to work to get there. Davies Uniacke dances through traffic, handballs it to Sheasel, looping handball to Bill Myers, then gave it to Parker. North Melbourne running it out of defence by hand. Curtis links up, back to Sheasel, tackled, run into trouble, somehow got ball to boot as Graham got him, and it came to Young, who was tackled for West Coast. So now a ball up just backward of the wings, slightly favouring West Coast attacking end, southern side of the ground, tossed up. Sherry took it out of the ruck, was dispossessed. Ball comes out towards the boundary. Lassu came off the North Melbourne handball. It'll be a free kick to West Coast and Bo Allen.
Just forward of centre wing, southern side. Allen goes on a run. Blue Boots in motion and then kicks long. It'll land up inside the left forward pocket. Sherry front position, won it down. Duff Titler tried to get it out. Gathered there by Harley Reid. Hand pass went back to Parker. Went right back to Pink. Under pressure. Kicks the Kangaroos beyond defensive 50 to left half back. There's Larkey. Caught one. Will get the free kick. He's remained down for a moment. Coming in from the side was Harry Edwards. He's the player infringing. Larkey, the goal for the Kangaroos to draw them level. 1 goal apiece. 6 and a bit minutes in the first. We'll move it short again. Chance to build up from North. McDonald with it. Took the uncontested mark. He comes towards the commentary wing. That's a good grab. Zane Dersma this time. Rising high. Arms highest points. Took the mark.
So Dersma has it just in front of the interchange gates. Headband on, runs, kicks inside the forward 50, looking for a marking target. Jinby got in front for West Coast, couldn't take it. Came down to Flynn, got it to Edwards. Tumbling ball outside defensive 50. Reid, handball was inventive, not that effective. Hoff coming through now for West Coast. Taken to ground by Myers. We'll have a ball up just below our commentary position, just forward of centre wing, broadcast side. Sherry in front from the restart. Yo was tackled, dispossessed. Robertson trying to bullock his way through. Did well to get it to Reid. Caught by Davies Uniacke. Throws the handball away. Now Daniel crashes in. Tackled by Milan Murdoch. That's a fair battle. That's two that size for size can match up pretty well. To restart again. Sherry taps it. Yo went without it. O'Sullivan now in there for North. Coming through Davis. Got it towards Flynn. Clever tap. Over the top to Graham, who gave the handball to Duggan. Wrong side for him. Tried to straighten up. Kick smothered by Dersma. Fell to Sheasel. Gave it back to the North Melbourne Dersma. Now to Davies Uniacke. Into the pocket. Larkey loses Edwards. Takes the mark. Tight in the left forward pocket. He's about 25-30 metres out. He's having a look inside, but might take the responsibility of the captain, who's already got one. It's going to go around the corner. Nick Larkey takes a couple of deep breaths, steps around, bends it through by the narrowest of margins. Another coat of paint that might have hit the post, but that's 2 for Nick Larkey. And after the Eagles kick the first, North Melbourne have the next 2. 2 straight 12, West Coast 1 straight 6, 8.5 played. First term here at Perth Stadium. Mitch Turner, Clint Wheeldon up here in the box with Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield.
I must say, Matt Flynn started quite well in the ruck. I thought he's been muscling up, but that was a poor call for the ball by Liam Duggan, going a left-footed gun onto his right side. West Coast were pretty good in tight, but just that one poor call. Duggan got hemmed up. just couldn't get the kick away. And as Scully said earlier, they are really going on rebound North, and they're making the most of it.
Well, both their goals have just come from just simple execution turnovers. I know there was a smother, but yeah, don't know what that calling left foot to the boundary by Duggo. But looking to get in the game, but they're looking to run and carry West Coast.
Sherry wins it down against Archer Reid. Comes out the side to Harley Reid. Throws it on the boot. Kicks high towards right half forward. Waiting underneath it. Zane Dersma marks for North Melbourne. In the shadows. Goes short to Davies Uniacke. Marks on the defensive point of the centre square. Short to O'Sullivan. The commentary edge of the centre square. Running by and receiving the hand pass. Nicely worked to McKercher. Kicks inside forward 50. Curtis flew. Couldn't complete the mark. Spilled out to Hoff. Ripped out of his grasp by Larkey. Picking up Curtis. Breaks free. Hand pass over the top to Powell. In the left forward pocket. He throws it on the boot. The Kangaroos have kicked 3 unanswered goals. After the Eagles got the first, North Melbourne have kicked the next 3. And they're out to a 12-point lead at the 10-minute mark of the opening term. The Kangas, 3 straight 18. West Coast, 1 straight 6.
So I just think at the moment, like, I know that was a sort of rush kick from Harley. He had probably a bit more time to execute and get a bit more field position. Right now, West Coast probably looking at trying to find a bit of composure in the game, knowing they've kicked the last 2 off turnover. But as you saw there, McKercher off half-back, LDU in the game. They're now up to 5 possessions. The players that we talk about, impacting the contest. So they need to control the game here, West Coast.
A cash voted downstairs.
Some bad news for North Melbourne. Griffin Logue is done for the day with a thigh injury.
There you go. The match-up for Jake Waterman. That's changed already. North with 3 in a row. Tapped forward in the attacking direction by North. Reid got it for the Eagles. Was pushed. Play on advantage. He gave it to Kelly. Now back to Duggan. Kicks on his right boot. Up the wing. In front, Shanahan. Couldn't mark. Zane Dersma. Got it for North Melbourne. Handball looking for Parker. Pushed off it by Yo. Ball ricochets back towards Tim Kelly. Right foot kick towards half forward. Murdoch got the free kick in the contest. No. He was racing towards goal, Milan Murdoch, but the kick will come back to Blamires for a hold. He thought he was the one held. Umpire saw it differently, and North Melbourne are able to rebound. Blamires long up the wing. Falcon for Larkey in the middle of the pack. It bounces off bodies, and Darling's able to take Edwards to ground. Ball up below our commentary position. It's North Melbourne by 12 points. 11 minutes gone in the first.
Love the story of Blamires. Was working at the Collingwood Football Club in their corporate commercial division. Had to resign after getting picked up by the Kangaroos. North take it away from the restart. Davies Uniacke strong. Worked it through the middle. It's able to get it away. Comes again through Constanzi. Inside forward 50. Chance again there for Doverston. Out the side. The Eagles are able to turn it over. Hoff involved to Jimby. Jimby, not a great kick beyond defensive 50. Mopped up here. Cripps, I thought, had completed the tackle, but North sent it back inside forward 50 again. Doverston taps it out. Waiting for it, trying to get it Simpkin. Wheels around. Works it on again to Zane Dersman. Now to Curtis, surrounded by Eagles. Got it onto his left foot. Snap, but missed. To the left-hand side, a minor score. First blot of the copybook today. 3-1-19 North Melbourne. 1 straight 6 the Eagles. 12 and a bit gone in the first.
The chaos. The ball bouncing around. A few tired players out there already. The Eagles bring it back into play. Out the far side, Waterman presents it under pressure. Went through his hands. Got to Parker for North Melbourne. Then off to Stevens. Sends it back inside forward 50. Jumping at the front was Trembath. Couldn't take the mark. Ball goes out towards the boundary. Right forward pocket. Oh, turnover by the Eagles. Taken. Kick on goal. Terrific. Beautifully done by Finn O'Sullivan. He gets his first, and another score from turnover going against the Eagles. North Melbourne 4-1-25. The Eagles are 1 straight 6.
Yeah, just they're making some rash decisions here, West Coast. They're just panicking and rushing a bit and not thinking about it. And North have been very clean. The Parker and the likes, McKercher off half-back, are really setting up on every loose ball, and they're just connecting through the midfield and making it tough for the defenders.
Exactly right. As I spoke about before, composure West Coast need right now. They've only had 1 mark, I think it is, for the game so far. So get a bit of composure. North Melbourne are going at sort of every time they go inside forward 50, they're scoring, from 8 or 9 inside 50. So they really need to sort of tighten up behind the ball too.
Sullivan read that beautifully off McCarthy. Restart once more. Can West Coast bring it away? Archer Reid in the ruck. He's tackled into the ground. It's going to be locked in there. Cooper Trembath affecting the tackle for the Kangaroos. Commentary edge of the centre circles. Archer Reid won it down. Straight to Simpkin, though, of the Kangaroos. Trying to get his arms free. Umpire says no. We're going to board up. Murdoch suggesting perhaps he should have been pinged for holding the ball. Restart again. Ball immediately hitting the deck. Kelly over the top. Getting it back to Baker for the Eagles. Sweeps a hand pass out to the commentary wing. Waiting for it. Robertson moved it on again. Chance to go inside forward by Newton. Oh, the kick was smothered. Daniel has it for the Kangaroos. Quickly towards left half forward. The ball is across the boundary line. That's going to be last disposal out of bounds. And a free kick here going to West Coast. And they got a little bit lucky on that occasion.
Yeah, they've just dropped James Shanahan behind the ball just to steady things up, West Coast.
Liam Baker will take the free kick and he'll move it in short. He's able to find Hoff, who marks, still at right half back.
As Jared Schofield said, this is just their second mark for the game, the Eagles, and we've played almost 15 minutes. Haven't been able to control the footy. Hoff goes for a run, kicks up the line. Big flyer from behind came from Dersma, couldn't drag it in. It's off hands, out of bounds.
Yeah, well, right now, like as Muddy just said, they put Job Shanahan behind the ball. If they're using the same calls as last year, it's their stone cold, where they bring a bit of density around stoppage. It's about time and territory now, as you might see them look to sort of maintain possession or go long down the line.
Reid and Darling wrestling just forward of centre wing as the ball's tossed back in. It was tapped down to Murdoch, got a quick kick about a metre to Robertson. His kick goes straight up in the air, nice and high. Dersma stood under it. Only travelled, I reckon, about 5 metres. Travelled vertically about 30. And they've paid the mark. So Dersma from left half back. This is Zane Dersma. Headband on again. Kicks up the wing. Behind the ball, Shanahan, as pointed out by Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield, takes the mark. He can come wide. Right in front of the benches to the goal kicker, the number 1 draft pick, Willem Dersma. Chips inboard to the logo on the broadcast swing where Hoff can mark. Now he looks to switch. Goes back towards the defensive side of the centre square. Shanahan becoming the link player. Marks, kicks out in front of Jinby. Not a great kick at all. Doverston was able to meet it. Dances around Jinby. Takes a bounce. Takes a second. Takes a third. Runs to 45. Handballs over the top for Larkey. Will he have a shot? He draws the man. Handball over the top to Zerha, who pops it in from the goal line. It's a bad place to be when you're trying to defend between two. And North Melbourne got it right at the end. Zerha gets his first. The Kangaroos are 5-1 at 31. West Coast are 1 straight 6. 16 and a half minutes played. That's 5 in a row to North Melbourne.
Yeah, just a poor kick by Job. I mean, you're going to have to cop that with young blokes. He shouldn't be missing it, but he's probably just a little bit tight, a little bit panicky. He's probably never been behind the ball that often, Scully, and all of a sudden they're rushing at him and he's thinking, what do I do? But it was just an errant kick, and you're right, they are just jumping on everything, North.
Yeah, they are, and West Coast, they're their own worst enemies at the moment. But the method they were trying to do, to shift the ball, to own possession, was exactly right. So they just got to execute with the skills.
Doverson in his second game has never kicked a goal either, and did the right thing and gave it off to the captain.
Ball back in the middle, trying to burst his way through here. Simpkin, and he's going to be pinged for holding the ball. Tempted the fend, got tackled. Right decision. They immediately move it forward. Long kick inside, attacking 50. Flying Waterman, couldn't take the mark. Punched away by Daniel. Dersma to Daniel again for North. Then to O'Sullivan, look to move it on again. Oh, stepping back, Lemires. He got crunched by Graham. What a great tackle that was. He's had a couple today already, Graham. Jeez, when he wraps you up, not going anywhere. Free kick here for West Coast between the wing and right half forward. Lemires on the mark. Graham puts it back inside forward 50. Flying towards it, Archer Reid. Couldn't mark. Spills down to O'Sullivan, immediately tackled. Ball came out the side, but the umpire had already called it. Good tackling coming from Davis. 50 out from West Coast attacking goal. Ball to be thrown up at right half forward.
Tap down to Sheasel. Couldn't get a clear kick away. It was knocked straight towards Graham. Gave it to Davis, then to Kelly. West Coast inside 50. Great grab in front by Archer Reid. Had a couple of goes at it. It's a pretty tall man, but so too is Charlie Comberton. Well done to the young Eagle. Gives himself a chance at a goal. Will kick from a tight angle in the right forward pocket. about 45 metres out.
Just need a steadier West Coast, and they've just gone and put the loose man back and held it up a bit, and they've just got to pinch a goal or two in the last 8 or 9 minutes here to try and steady the game.
Kicked one last week. Archer Reid, just the 8 touches. Would like to get himself into the game early. Eagles fans, a nervous buzz. Reid set shot. Straight through the middle. And he turns to the fans and tries to get them back involved. The Eagles finally answer back and ends a run of 5 in a row for North Melbourne. 2 straight 12 West Coast, 5-1-31 North Melbourne. 19 points the margin here in the first term.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it, Scully. They've just got to hold up here and eke their way back in goal by goal. I mean, the game's got off to a frenetic start for North, but it's not shot by any means. I mean, they've just got to hold it up, West Coast. They did the right thing, created the extra number and just stopped the game a little bit, but there's 8 minutes to go in this quarter, and North have 5 goals on the board, so they just got to steady West Coast and take the fight up.
Yeah, like I said, they're 4 goals. 4 of their 5 have come from turnover. Like, they are playing at a frenetic pace. Their speed looks good. Their pressure looks good. They're winning centre bounce. So I think they're +4 on centre bounce. So they're doing all the right things. They just got to look after the ball and obviously tighten up behind the ball.
Puts it aloft. Sherry won it down against Flynn. Yo was there for the Eagles. Got it out to Kelly. Looks to move it forward. Harley Reid. Lovely kick towards right half forward to Archer Reid. He marks 55 from goal. 45-degree angle to the right. Oh, and then he kicks into Comben. That was disappointing. Spilled out to McKercher. Gathered it deep in his own defensive 50. Hand pass to Daniel. Right back to the mouth of the goal square, and it's rushed through. Stevens taking, well, absolutely no risk seeing it through for a minor score. 5-1-31 plays 2-1-13. 21 gone in the opening term.
So the ball brought back. That's one of the first occasions you have to wait for the signal, not the flag, and he went that quick that had to bring it back to McKercher, who goes into the pocket to McDonald. Kick under pressure up the wing in front. Good mark taken on the chest by Trembath in front of Edwards. Has runners coming past too. Daniel receives the handball, kicks along the broadcast wing. Simpkin able to take the mark, held up momentarily. Former captain able to now chip over the top. Powell, 60 out from goal, goes short. Davies Uniacke. He's still a kick and a half out from goal. Plays on, steps around Harley Reid. Kick's not a great one. It'll go towards the right forward pocket, and Dersma in position 1A. Willem couldn't take the mark under pressure. It's knocked off hands out of bounds. It'll be tossed back in right forward pocket. North Melbourne's attacking 50. They lead by 3 goals.
Welcome to our listeners who've joined us from South Australia after the wrap-up of Port Adelaide and Essendon. Thrown in again, right forward pocket for the Kangaroos. Came down here to Sheasel. Davies Uniacke working it around. Back to Trembath, or rather Blamires, who goes long inside forward 50. Darling was up, couldn't take the mark. Trying to work it out of trouble here was Davis. Hand pass only as far as Zurha to Daniel. Back to Zurha, 45 from goal. Puts it up into the air towards right full forward. Curtis flew. It's ricocheted off him and over for a boundary throw-in. Just a metre to the right of the right hand behind post. 5-1-31 the Kangaroos, 2-1-13 the Eagles. 22 and a bit gone in this opening term. Still most of the ground in bright sunshine. A warm afternoon in the west. Throwing in again. Flynn won it down and going through and taken high. That will be a free kick. Underneath all of that, Curtis. And he can go back and have a shot from a slight angle to the right-hand side and put boot to ball from no more than 20 out.
Well, just an example there when pressure builds, re-entries, defenders, having to deal with a lot, and then you get a little bit desperate inside a stoppage, and on that occasion, a little bit reckless with the tackle, just probably on the build-up of pressure.
Davis Arms just slipping high. Here's Curtis right in front. Kicks on its way. Those in blue and white behind the goals, they wave their flags, and North Melbourne dominated the scoreboard in this first half. 6-1-37 to 2-1-13. The Kangaroos, their lead is 24 points at the 24-minute mark of the opening quarter. Yeah,
and you just got to learn by your mistakes, Paul Curtis is an absolute left foot, and he was just coming straight through on his left-hand side. Just an errant mistake from a young defender, just to block him off and not let him through. So, again, just a simple little mistake that West Coast can learn from and get better at as time goes.
So powerful, Curtis, isn't he? The bench press is like 160, 170 or something ridiculous. I know. Adrian Sardia, Tech, was looking at me in the back of the box going, what? I'm like, yeah. It's ridiculous how much he can press with his power. Out of the middle, North Melbourne win it. Sheasel gets the kick towards half forward. Zerha in front of Hoff was held. We'll get the free kick on the attacking edge of the centre square. It's looking inside the 50. Simpkins out here in front of us. Left half forward screaming for the ball. Gets ignored. Instead, looks for the leading forward. At the back, Larkey couldn't get there. Young got a fist in for West Coast. Waterman helping out in defence. Gathered. High kick towards the southern wing. Going back in front was Newton. Was crunched. Ball gets out the back. Robertson tries to tap it to his own advantage. It was taken by a teammate in Graham, who coughed it up to North Melbourne. Pink to Davies Uniacke. Now to Stevens by hand. And eventually Sheasel, who has a bit of space on the southern side, can kick towards half forward. Darling in front. Couldn't mark, but Edwards behind him infringed. And he's hurt as well, Harry Edwards. He's gone down in a bit of pain. And the Eagles are asking the umpires, Elliot Yeo, to stop play. As Harry Edwards is a little worse for wear on the paint of 50. Not sure what the problem is exactly. The trainer is with him. Now the umpire has said it's okay for Jack Darling to resume. Man of the mark stands 53 metres out. Edwards still on his haunches. Darling called to move it on. Kicks towards the hot spot. Waterman gets a clean run at it and takes the intercept mark for West Coast. So the play has to stop here, because there's three trainers and Harry Edwards still down about 30 metres from this contest. And I think they will pause it momentarily.
Was it friendly fire from Flynn at the back as he tried to spoil?
Yeah, it was. It came over his head, and obviously he's coming off a concussion protocol already, Harry, but this is going to become a concern for his career if it keeps happening.
Yeah. It was a little bit reckless, Flinny. I don't know if he really needed to come across there. It's unfortunate, for Harry, because if he goes out of the game, then it will sort of change the dynamics of that back six. Because I was just looking at their back six and who's playing on who, and it sort of seems like they're just playing a line. Besides, say, Harry being on Larkey, they're prepared to sort of chop and change.
Well, it means Young has to go to Larkey. I mean, Ruben's just going to play big again, which he's been doing for the last 2 or 3 years, really.
Yeah, exactly right. So, obviously, Ruben will have to play up. They've got some support there, and obviously at the moment they're still rolling with the +1.
There's a look of disappointment and resignation on the face of Harry Edwards that he knows his day might be done, and there'll be some time on the sidelines if that is a concussion. He looks disappointed. A cash photo will keep us updated from down on the boundary line. It's been a very, very slow walk.
It's an area of vulnerability for West Coast key backs.
Well, there's none out there at the moment because Edwards is still coming from the ground. Waterman goes out there to the southern side. The Eagles trying to work it forward, turned over again. Davies Uniacke spun out of tackle, then broke the Yeo tackle. Handball to Sheasel, takes a bounce, runs the 55, takes a second. Eagles closing as he kicks towards the top of the square. Larkey held by Young, grabbed his jumper, pulled it straight back. You can boo all you want, Eagles fans, but that was about as obvious a hold as you'll ever see. Set shot coming up from the top of the goal square.
Well, it's just another example of the pressure just building.
Yep.
So now the players are just, they're going out of themselves, they're getting desperate. But just noticing there that they lost that contest, West Coast, but they're just getting, North Melbourne are getting a player forward of the play every single time. And what it does, it draws up the opposition's defence. So around the contest, West Coast need to tighten up and make sure that none of those sort of North Melbourne spitters are getting forward of the ball when they don't win that footy.
Larkey puts it through, kicks his third goal. And that's an ominous sign. His direct opponent has just gone off the field, might not return in Harry Edwards, and Larkey already has 3. 7-1-43 for North, 2-1-13 for the Eagles, margin 30 points. And because it took Harry Edwards so long to get off, Young had to go across, play on Larkey in the contest. They were one defender short when that ball went in because Liam Duggan was still coming onto the field because it was on the other side of the ground, and they got caught short and conceded another one.
Why was the play played on when there's a player walking off the ground, though.
Not a blood rule. Blood rules, you can bring someone straight on and replace.
Why did they wait?
An injury, you can't.
Why did they wait for him to walk to the wing and then play? Why didn't they just play anyway?
I think he went so slow, they thought, you've got to go. Like, it took him, it's the slowest walk I've ever seen off the field, to be honest.
North win it through the middle again. Sherry to Sheasel. He got tackled, got a hand pass out, just hit the deck. Here's Harley Reid. Manufactures a kit through traffic, bounces away though of Daniel. Got it again for North to Sheasel. Not a great kick. Going out in the direction of Simpkin, and the umpire spotted a holding decision. Will go North's way. Simpkin will have it. Eagles fans are restless. Not happy with the scoreboard. It shows North 30 points up. It is a game-high lead to the Kangaroos. 29 gone in the first. Simpkin kicks towards left half forward. Larkey was in there, came out the back. Bo Allen goes to Hoff, then to Waterman. Waterman kicks long down the line towards right half forward. And then perhaps being held by Comben was Archer Reid. And eventually the umpires almost get talked into it. Had a long think about it. I would say it was there. Archer Reid stabs it back inboard and Allen finds it. He takes the mark, Bo Allen. Commentary edge of the logo on the northern wing. Back into the centre square to Hoff and then to Waterman. As we so often see when they're in strife, goes back as a defender. No one behind him as he kicks towards right half forward. Massive pack there. Big group up. Spilling down and getting a kick inside forward 50. Davis towards full forward. Newton puts himself over the top of the football. Still being battled with. Does it come out the side? Yo was lurking. Locked in eventually, the umpire says we'll ball it up. Toby Pink, the player on the ground. He'll be the last man up with the umpire eventually receiving the football.
Ball tossed up. Over the top of Sherry was Flynn. Tapped it towards Newton, who couldn't gather. Davies Uniacke couldn't get a clean handball out. Parker stood up in traffic. The ball's bobbling around inside the Eagles forward 50. Handball comes loose. Archer Reid through the traffic, picks it up, kicks out in front of Shanahan. Oh no, it's Duff Tyler on this occasion. Duff Tyler couldn't grab it initially, then gathers, then breaks away from the defender, snaps around his body. That's special. A man of that size, moving that well. Cooper Duff Tyler showing what he can offer. His first goal in AFL football is a memorable one. There's a bit of a pattern with that happening around the league at the moment. Cooper Duff Tyler the latest. 3-1-19 the Eagles. 7-1-43 North Melbourne. Fair goal in the end.
Yeah, out of what's been a dismal quarter, that's the sort of goal you want to see from your second game, where it gives you something to smile about. But they just needed one. Just to stop this North run on. I mean, it's still not out of control because it's under 30 points. Anything inside 5 or 6 goals is doable these days, but they are now down one player.
The two cleanest blokes, Archer Reid, with the gather below his knees, and then Cooper Duff Tyler picking it up and snapping at the two tallest guys out there.
So the first and fourth round draft picks both getting their first goals at home as driving forward, Davies Uniacke almost got tackled, or was tackled, but just got it away in time by Graham. Moved towards centre half forward. Baker was there. He's locked in. Ball up will be the call. Flynn wins it down for the Eagles against Sherry. Came to Graham. Throws it on the boot immediately. Kicks up the corridor. Wanted Archer Reid. Couldn't find him. Spills out the back to McDonald. Clearing kick towards the commentary wing. Trying to turn on the football. That will be a free kick. He was being held there, Allen. You could take your pick, that or the last disposal out of bounds. But Bo Allen will have it. Curtis stands on the mark. Allen runs inboard, and that's a shocking kick, but it works out okay. Went towards Graham, and Graham spots a teammate inboard, sends it to Robertson, who marks, plays on by hand. Hoff running by from centre half forward, kicks to right, full forward. No mark taken, McDonald. It spun away the footy from Yo. Stretched out the arm, couldn't quite reel it in. Ball out for a throw-in. Now 15 metres to the right of the Eagles' attacking goal, heading to the city end for what's left in this opening term. Still, North Melbourne in control on the scoreboard. They're up by 24 points.
First time they've kicked 7 goals or more since 2024, round 14 in the first quarter. And they did that against Collingwood. They kicked 8 goals, 1 that day, and lost by a point. So good signs for North Melbourne as we have another reset inside the Eagles forward 50. Flynn and Sherry. Sherry to the front, palmed it down. Couldn't get it to a teammate. Yo in there fighting. So too Newton. He's tackled by Blamires. Comes out to Parker. Then to Sheasel. Back by hand to Simpkin. High kick beyond defensive 50. No mark taken. Out the back Davis for West Coast. Got it to Jimby. Able to throw it on his left boot. Back inside the Eagles attacking arc. No mark taken. Blamires again at ground level. Handball to O'Sullivan. Then to Daniel into the middle. Taken by Trembath.
It's got players free out on the wing. That's where the kick will go as well. Stevens has to turn. Didn't hit him. When Dersma closes him down. Hand pass inboard. Zerha gathers on the logo. Back again to Stevens. Just gets the kick away. But sliding out, O'Sullivan takes the mark for North Melbourne. Forward of the logo southern wing. Closing in on quarter time. North hang on to it. Will they try one more? It comes to Sheasel. He will put it long. Inside forward 50 for the Kangaroos. Up was Waterman. Spilled out to Trembath. The siren sounds. That is quarter time. North Melbourne at one stage kicked 5 unanswered goals in that term after the Eagles kicked the first. They got out to a 30-point lead. West Coast dragging that back to 24 points with a late goal to Cooper Duff-Tytler. So both of their early draft picks from last year getting their first goal in Eagles colours. But it's North who lead, as I said, by 24 points at quarter time. The Kangaroos 7-1-43 to West Coast 3-1-19. The goal kickers for North, Nick Larkey, the skipper. He's got 3. And then singles to O'Sullivan, to Powell, to Curtis and to Zerha. While for West Coast, their 3 goals, all individuals. Dersma, Archer Reid and Duff-Tytler. Earlier today, Port by 63 points over the Bombers. We'll have the thoughts of our experts in just a moment, wherever you're listening on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Who will win the AI race? Has gambling become our national sport?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
Get your footy fix with ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron are joined by a cast of AFL legends to pull apart the biggest stories in Aussie rules. Search for the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Combin's kick straight back towards West Coast. Won by Allen. Handball inside to Hoff. Now to Graham. West Coast inside the forward 50. Kick finds the target in Dersma. And the battle of the Dersmas. Willem Dersma has the first chance to impact the game. He'll have a set shot from just better than a 45-degree angle to the right. He'll kick from outside 50. Willem Dersma looking for his first goal in AFL football. Kick is a beauty off the boots, and they come from everywhere. The number 1 draft pick has his first goal at the top level, and he does it in front of his new home fans. And every single Eagles player on the field gets around him.
Spills down, Curtis going by, hands it off to Powell, juggles the bouncing ball, eventually picks it up. Vantage been taken here by North. They dump it long by Dersma inside forward 50, or Zerha rather, and Larkey. Great mark at right full forward. He'll go back and have a shot from no more than 20 out, 45-degree angle to the right. 4 goals last week, Larkey. And he puts his name on the goal kickers list early doors here at Perth Stadium. McKercher kicks inside forward 50. Curtis Flew couldn't complete the mark. Spilled out to Hoff, ripped out of his grasp by Larkey. Picking up Curtis, breaks free. Hand pass over the top to Powell in the left forward pocket. He throws it on the boot. The Kangaroos have kicked 3 unanswered goals.
Stevens sends it back inside forward 50. Jumping at the front was Trembath. Couldn't take the mark. Ball goes out towards the boundary. Right forward pocket. Oh, turnover by the Eagles. Taken. Kick on goal. Terrific. Beautifully done by Finn O'Sullivan. He gets his first, and another score from turnover going against the Eagles.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
It's quarter time at Perth Stadium. North Melbourne lead West Coast by 24 points. The Eagles have decided to head down into the rooms rather than stay out in the middle. The Kangaroos in the shade at the northern northern wing towards the city end of the ground. Sensibly too from West Coast if you've got the chance. It's 28 degrees at the moment. Hot out there in the middle as well in every respect. Let's get the thoughts of our experts on ABC Sport. Premiership players, the pair of them, Jared Schofield and Chris Waterman.
Oh, well, just going through the stats, it's not hard to... I mean, you don't have to look at the scoreboard and you see what's going on, but 116 to 85 in possessions, it's two good players, and they are Sheasel and Davies-Uniacke through the midfield, and Caleb Daniel and the likes of Parker and those type of guys are just cutting through the middle. West Coast are panicking, and they're not making the same decision going back the other way. We haven't got that run off half back. Scully just said McCarthy's been put back there, but he's only had 4. Duggo's only had a couple of kicks. But they really need the ball in Liam Baker's hands because he looks like the one that can do damage, but they can't get it to him enough. Offie just got a couple, just went straight through and went long. They're not using their loose player like North are. They're just outplaying, and I just noticed a couple of times ball went from outside to inside the corridor, and North were just straight over there in a flash, and West Coast were tailing him, so they're just not quite working hard enough, Scully.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think their key players are influential. That last 10 minutes of that quarter, the likes of Sheasel and LDU really sort of took off. And I think, what happened with the game early on, the West Coast were really up and running. Their speed was evident. Their execution was below par, and they got done on turnover. And then they go into that controlled part for literally probably most of that quarter, and it really stopped their ball movement off half back. And as I mentioned off air, is that last bit of play where we had an opportunity to sort of feed the ball back to Jake to take it off the line and maybe change the angle going inside our forward 50. We went straight back to where their numbers were. North Melbourne, on the other hand, hit the lateral, went to the open side and had a good entry with open field. And I think it'll be interesting to see what West Coast do with Mini. Obviously, whether they go in that control, they start that way, or they get back to and resetting the players. And I like to think they reset them, get going again and tidy up a few things into their execution. And I think they can definitely get their opportunities. I think inside 50s, they're down by 2 on inside 50s. So they're definitely getting enough looks. Stoppages even. Centre bounce they're controlling, which is an important part of the game. But stoppages are even. Both teams have kicked 2 goals from stoppage. So they just got to tidy up some of their ball use going inside their front half. The
uncontested possessions of 30 as well, 75 to 46. Which tells the story. They're working harder to keep possession of the ball. But the metres gained, Scully, they've got an extra 400 metres on them, so they're running from behind, they're running in waves. So they're just controlling the game, North. West Coast have to slow it down on defence and then try and make some quick movements through the middle and try and open them up. Because if they're working as hard forward, North, when they turn the ball over and catch them out going the other way and be smart with execution.
Well, they do have, they've got the experience of Caleb Daniel and Parker behind the ball that really set it, and McDonald as well. It really takes a lot of work rate and strong work rate to make sure that West Coast equalise their front half. Their midfielders are very good at getting back and supporting their experienced backs. And if you don't equalise in your front half when you go forward, well, then the ball does come back with interest.
West Coast, they've emerged from the rooms. You got another point, Marty?
Well, and Harry Edwards has gone off, which on one hand you say that's really going to hurt West Coast, but they've lost Griffin Logue, so they're down a key possession player both sides. You'd think on face value it's going to hurt West Coast more, but I don't know. I mean, Ruben Jimby's played tall for so long now, he's just going to have to take that one up, and I think Bo Allen, who's a 6-footer, goes back to half-back flank. So we should be able to cover it. I mean, we just got to get the ball down there.
Can I just say here, is that interesting that they've gone into the change rooms? Because I'm looking at it, I'm putting the coach's hat and I'm going, is that a mindset thing now? Okay, this is like a reset button. We're coming back out and starting again. It's an interesting move that they went into the change rooms and then come back out, but might be the psychological part, so we'll see what happens.
Well, this whole side of the ground is in shade already, so North Melbourne were in the shade, not the sun, and they stayed out there. Just quickly, individually, Harry Sheasel, 15 touches for North Melbourne, leads all comers on the ground. 12 for Davies-Uniacke, 9 for Daniel, 8 for O'Sullivan. For West Coast, 8 apiece for Robertson, Graham and Harley Reid. 7 for Brady Hoff, as mentioned, the inside 50s. The way of North just by 2, and the clearance counts, they lead that by 1, and they lead the game by 24 points.
Cash Vodadar was glancing alongside. Have you spotted Harry Edwards, Cash, from your position?
Hey, Clint. No, he hasn't emerged from the rooms just yet, so he's still undergoing that head assessment.
Griffin Logue out for North Melbourne. Second term underway Flynn has done well. Got that down against Sherry, but Sherry was able to shovel it out towards Power for the Kangaroos. Kick towards Constanti. Goes back to Power by hand. Will kick inside forward 50. He wants Larky. Spoil came from Jinby at the back. Zurha able to gather. Goes to ground. Wrapped up then by Baker. He's been given a free kick. Crunch between two Eagles there. Davis one side, Baker the other. Free kick will come here to Zurha, and this would be just the start that the Kangaroos would want.
Larky's hurt himself too. Hyperextended the left knee. Looks a bit proppy.
That was in that marking contest. Baker giving away the free kick, the right arm going high as Zurha went forward. Got him in the side of the head. That's the reason why Zurha is having a shot on goal. 45-degree angle to the left-hand side. Cam Zurha with one already today. Boots across the 50. Kicks on its way. He liked it at the moment. It headed towards the big sticks. It sailed between them. Zurha's got a couple. North Melbourne, in the opening 65 seconds of the second term, have kicked their 8th goal. Their lead is out to 30 points. 8-1-49. West Coast 3-1-19 here on ABC Sport.
They just look like scoring every time they get it, Scully. That's my concern. There just needs to be more fight in that midfield. I reckon Flynn's going all right against Cherry. He's just ground level. Kelly's not really getting into it just yet, but he'll find a way in. Malone Murdoch's got to find his way into the game. Cripper's got to find his way into the game. But quite a few players just not having an impact at the moment.
Yeah, well, that last centre bounce, Kelly, there was a nearly moment. He's gone to half forward now. They're sort of flipping in and out of centre bounce. Yoey's now in the middle. But they were just cleaner than North Melbourne. They got the forward territory.
Larky staying out there for the time being. North Melbourne will go forward again. Sherry out of the ruck, kicks it towards Larky. Pushed off it by Jimby. Coming through Zane Dursman, tackled by Baker. Just got a hand to it. Allows Duggan for West Coast to rebound. Kicks out the southern side. Murdoch and Daniel, the little men, fight at it again. Then the big men come through. Comben and Reid, neither could grab it. Murdoch gains it for West Coast eventually. Handballs back to Davis. Short kick, good vision. Finds Tim Kelly. Handball to the run of Harley Reid. Takes a bounce. Handball over the top. Murdoch now inside 50 West Coast. The handball just missed Yo. Sliding into the legs of Sherry, who was coming in to take the ball. And that's contact below the knees. And it'll be a free kick to the North Melbourne ruck, who's still staring into the sun in left back pocket, and try and bring North Melbourne back out of play.
Interesting then. Harley just got one a little bit behind the play when the North Melbourne player jumped to try and smother his handball. But he picked himself up, man. Looks all right.
Sherry long kick towards the southern wing. Jimby underneath it. Down to Davis, then to Baker. Puts the Eagles back inside forward 50. He wanted Waterman. Thought he was being held. Umpire says play on. Instead, no, it will come back. A long time for that whistle to be blown, but Waterman, quite rightly, will get the free kick. Was being held in the marking contest. To have a shot 4 or 5 metres in from the boundary and about 25 out from goal in the right forward pocket.
I don't think Luke McDonald, even though he's been a terrific player, is a key back, Scully. I think he might be enjoying that matchup if they can get some more ball down there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, to say the least. But as you said, once West Coast do go forward with the ball, if they can get deeper entries, they've got the firepower up there to cause some trouble.
Waterman's shot at goal misses across the face. A minor score. 3-2-20 to 8-1-49. 4 gone in the second.
They bring the ball back into play quickly. Do North Melbourne. Through Parker, able to go up the wing. Big pack forms. Sherry in front. Flynn there as well. Neither could mark. Jinby off the back, came up to meet it. Grubbering kick towards left half forward. No one could grab it. Archer Reid's in there for West Coast. And he gathers, tackled by Comben through hands. North Melbourne, good work. Flicked it around, ended up with Simpkin. Now Stevens. Kick over the top towards right half forward. It doesn't favour any of his forwards, and Jinby can take the intercept mark. Just outside the 50, left half back. Larky's still a little proppy as Jinby will run around him on the mark. Kick back up the broadcast wing. Reid in front. This is Harley. Was held by Stevens and threw a little elbow back. Lucky he didn't collect him as he was trying to shake him off. He won the free kick. Went inboard to the wing to Kelly, who stepped off his line. Called to play on, Tim Kelly. Comes forward up the wing to Dersma, and this is Willem Dersma who can take the mark.
Number 1 on his back, number 1 draft pick last year. It's towards full forward. Oh, getting away from everyone. Flynn read that beautifully. He leapt up and takes an uncontested mark. 35 out from goal. Slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the left.
Just controlled the ball a bit more up in the midfield when they had it. Looked for a spare man. Kelly got it, then looked for Dersma. Just not panicking, finding that loose player.
They definitely had opportunities to shift the ball. I think Ruben looked there, and I was just watching where Tom McCarthy was in terms of that sort of ground setup to see how they can obviously get him into the game. Watching Powell looking at, managing him a little bit closer, but I just think if they can get the ball into the right people's hands, and as you said, Muddy, they can sort of compose themselves going forward, well, then they can get obviously opportunities to shoot on goal.
That's a shocking kick from Flynn. He's missed everything to the right-hand side. Floating across, out of bounds on the full. North Melbourne will have the free kick. Left full back, Daniel to take it.
Kicks beyond defensive 50, looking for a marking target over the back for West Coast was McCarthy. He couldn't gather. Young could, though. Kicks over the head of Waterman. And taking the mark is Caleb Daniel, who plays on by hand into the middle of his defensive 50 to Parker. Now by hand to McKercher. Short kick up the middle. Oh, terrible handball. Turned over by McKercher again. Now the ball goes back towards Graham for West Coast. McKercher dispossessed. Coming through Allen for West Coast. Handball to Duggan. Back to Graham. Now on the boot. Inside 50. Looking for a target. Shanahan can't mark. Oh, Cripps was almost through. Well done by O'Sullivan to knock it away from him. It spills back to Cripps, though. Then to Milan Murdoch. He loves a goal. 2 last week. Now he's on the board today. Milan Murdoch gets the Eagles' 4th goal. 4-2-26. North Melbourne are 8-1-49, and he's got himself in the game this quarter. Margin back to 23 points.
Well, this is what they did last week in the second half against Gold Coast, but they were way too far down. They're doing it early in the second quarter now, Scully. They're just up the pressure. They're tackling harder. They're getting in their face, and they're not allowing North Melbourne to have that run and gun style. So, and just making a couple of better decisions offensively has just turned the game just a little bit back their way.
Yeah, well, I said earlier in the piece, I think their pressure has been there all game. There's been a couple of moments where North Melbourne have been able to get forward of the contest when they haven't got it right. But when you win contests at your centre forward area and you're able to get a deeper entry, you can get those looks. And it was a great finish by Murdoch.
Mitch summed it up. Everyone loves a goal, but Milan Murdoch, he loves a goal. Great play. The second gamer. North will get the clearance out of the middle. Powell gives it off towards Davies-Uniacke. Hand pass to Sheasel. Just stepped inside Harley Reid. Attempted chase and tackle. Went forward to Powell again. Back to Sheasel. And forward to the centre circle. Kicks long to full forward. Jimby attacked the football. Went out after it. Tried to gather. Coming the other way was Cooper Duff-Tytler. They work it into the left back pocket. Now a chance to emerge with it. Well done through Allen. Comes down the commentary wing. Waterman turn inside McDonald. There's 2 Eagles, 3 inside forward 50. The kick goes the way of Archer Reid. He hands it off to Cripps, who runs into an unguarded goal square and kicks the goal. There was a great bit of flow from that Eagles play, if not so much from the commentary. But Jamie Cripps, he puts the Eagles to within now 17 points. 5-2-32. They trail North Melbourne 8-1-49. 9 gone in the second term. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport, and our experts, Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield.
I think then what we just saw then was Ruben Jimby. The last 2 or 3 forward offensive plays from North Melbourne, Ruben Jimby's come forward and really attacked the ball with vigour. And he came through off Larkey, off a centre bounce win for North Melbourne. Gives him that rebound, a long kick to a one-on-one contest, and Jay Warden wins that to another long contest. Simple football.
Go down to a cash photodar shortly. Back in the middle, Sherry knocks it down and a reset, a cash photodar.
Just keep an eye on Harry Sheasel. He was limping after that kick into the forward 50. His leg clashed with a West Coast player as he put the ball inside 50.
Sheasel has had a pretty good game so far. Was leading disposal again in the first quarter. Off the restart, Milan Murdoch roved the tap beautifully. Kicks a grubber inside the forward 50. Waterman got a hand on it. McDonald trying to clear it under pressure. Shanahan to Waterman to Cripps. Go again. snap around the body was brilliant. And West Coast are riding the momentum. Another goal, back-to-back majors for Jamie Cripps. West Coast have 3 in a row. 6-2-38 the Eagles, 8-1-49 the Kangaroos, 11-point margin. You can feel the crowd now engaged, and we talked about it before the game, Scully. It's a game of momentum, isn't it? Now they've got it.
It definitely is, and I said West Coast have it right now. But that last stoppage play, Harley blocking for Milan Murdoch to go through the inside. West Coast had a couple extra half forwards up at stoppage to create some density. They know they're doing well in the contest. It was a great play at stoppage.
It don't have to be clean to score. You just got to find a way to score. And if it's messy, so be it.
Milan Murdoch was clean, though. A player that recruiters thought wasn't good enough or big enough to play at the top level.
Inside 50 now favour West Coast, 19-17, and they'll get the clearance again. Kelly inside forward 50, diving out Shanahan. Pink spoiled, couldn't mark it. Trying to knock it forward again was Newton. Here's McDonald, gets the arms free of the attempted tackle. Powell overran it. Davis gathered back to Newton for the Eagles. Here's Waterman at left half forward. Pops a hand pass to Reid. Took on a tackler. Got it short again to Davis. He's wrapped up. Eagles fans thought perhaps St. Dersma was into his back. Instead, it's going to be a ball up 50 from the Eagles' goal. Left half forward. Throwing aloft. One down at the back by the Eagles. Comes the way, though, of Davies-Uniacke. Looked to get it out to Doveston. He's tackled by Baker. Ball across the boundary line for a throw-in. West Coast have just lifted their rating immeasurably. So have their supporters. The Eagles down by, at one stage, 30 points early stage of this term. They're back to within 11. Ball spun in from the boundary umpire. Going up and winning it down. West Coast got there again through Duff Tightler. Kick is inside forward 50 for the Eagles. Spoilt came from the side from Parker. Sees it back over the boundary line for a throw-in. Jamie Graham, the player who sent it inside forward 50 for West Coast. There's a throw-in about 35 out from the Eagles attacking goal there. In the bright sunshine, they're heading to the Farmer Freeway end in this quarter. They trail the Kangaroos by 11 points. 12 gone in the second.
Ball spun back in. Darling took it out of the ruck. Handballs beyond defensive 50, and that is last touch out of bounds. But there's a bit going on back at the contest. So it is a free kick to West Coast. Harley Reid was getting into it. No, it has been reversed. So free kick to Pink, and Reid just down Darling after he got rid of it. Sheasel still out there, receives the ball, kicks up the wing, missed the target in Dersma. Eagles turn it over. Davis, handball over the top to Baker, spun in the tackle, broke the Doveston tackle. Now handball to Harley Reid, takes the bounce, tries to pinpoint a target inside 50. Shanahan got a hand in there, couldn't mark it. McKercher's wrapped up. Umpire will ball it up, 30 metres out from the Eagles' goal. Still in the sunshine. Ball tossed high in the air. Duff Tightler knocks it down. Murdoch somehow got a kick. The ball went away. So too did the boot. As Newton's tackled and gone out of bounds. That boot has come off again for Milan Murdoch. The boot went further than the ball, as he's once again trying to get it back on the blue sock. The ball will be spun back in inside the forward 50. 15 metres around from the Eagles attacking goal.
Darling gets the tap down against Duff Tightler. Emerging with it and shooting on goal, Newton. He put it to the right-hand side from 35 outs. A minor score. That margin cut back to 10 points. 14 gone in the second term.
Milan Murdoch's boot's going to come off again. It's not on properly. It's actually sitting, hasn't gone over the heel. He's just running around with what we'd call a flat tyre. You were trying to step on your mate's shoe and knock it off their foot. That's what he's got at the moment. McKercher restart, kicks it out to the southern wing. Zerha couldn't gather it, bumped off it by an Eagles opponent in Allen, and Robertson sees it over the boundary line.
They look like your granddad's slippers, you know, when he just sort of slides them
Well,
in.
we need to get him a boot sponsor. We can see if we can find him one today.
The cash
new
photo
pair of boots.
Yeah, confirmation from West Coast that Harry Edwards is done for the day, and more concern now with Tyler Young getting some attention on the bench from the doctors and physios.
It's two key backs that could be done. Ball spun back in. Darling to the front. Got it towards Simpkin, who lost it. Cripps was dispossessed. Now Davies-Uniacke for North. Through traffic was good. Got a handball back to Powell, and now Simpkin, who kicks it up the wing. Cut off by Tim Kelly. On the logo on the wing. Intercepts. Spears it to Jake Waterman. Kick and a half out. Has Harley Reid running past. Receives the handball. Takes the bounce. Kicks a floater on goal. And misses. Might have just clipped the post. It did. It wasn't pretty by Harley's standards. And it's a minus score. 6-4-40 West Coast. 8-1-49 North Melbourne. 15 gone.
Back to single digits, that margin. Kick from the Kangaroos towards the commentary wing. Duggan was able to read it well. Got there and won it. Kick from Allen. Kicks to left half forward. Well-weighted kick. Shanahan marks. Puts it inside forward. 50. Out to grab Archer Reid. Marking 40 from goal. He'll start or he'll put boots of ball in line with the left hand behind post.
Shanahan to Reid. We'd like to see that a few more times today and in the future, Scully.
Well, at the moment, I'd love to see the stat for sort of forward half territory time right now, because West Coast are all over North Melbourne. Like the inside 50s, 10-4. I was sort of thinking to myself, as you guys were calling, is that I hope North Melbourne don't get an easy one here, because West Coast are absolutely dominating. It reminds me of how they started. They're just now executing, obviously, the basic fundamentals and connecting inside forward 50.
Here comes Archer Reid looking for his second of the afternoon. It was never going to miss. The moment he kicked it, it went straight as an arrow. 2 for him. 7 now to the Eagles. And what was, in the opening minutes of this term, a 30-point lead to North Melbourne is now just a 3-point advantage to the Kangaroos. West Coast 7-4-46, North Melbourne 8-1-49, 17 gone in the second term.
This is 2 young teams coming from the bottom up, Scully, that are just going to lose focus at times in games. And when they get up and go. Start was North, now it's West Coast, and North have really dropped off. Thought they had this game in the bag far too early. And the other young team have just got up and going. This is what you're going to see with these 2 teams over the next year or 2.
And it's exactly right. You know, West Coast had to sort of stem the momentum early on, and obviously in the quarter, and they have.
Ball back in the middle. Sherry and Flynn go at it. Tackled without. It was Powell. Free kick going against Graham and the Eagles. North Melbourne receiving it. Powell goes and collects the footy. That's a run back of his mark. All the players flooding ahead of him. Kicking towards the city end of Perth Stadium. Runs from the sunshine to the shade. Kicks it inside the forward arc. Wrestling. Darling couldn't take the mark. Flynn was there doing the roving work, the big man. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Blamires for North. Duff Tyler for West Coast. The big man won it. Got it to Newton. Kick up the wing. Waterman and McDonald. Wrestling. Fighting. Ball goes off hands, out of bounds. Good contest. Will be tossed back in. Attacking side of the southern wing. Flags at the top of the stands blowing that way. As Flynn and Sherry lock up again. Sherry in front, got a hand to it. Yo, though, roved it. Couldn't find a teammate by hand. Powell got it to Simpkin. Crunched by Kelly. Blamires through traffic. Got it to Sheasel. Back to Blamires. Wasn't a clean handball. Had to go back and get it. Well done, Duff Tyler. Intercepted it. Got it back to Yo. Hooks it around the body towards right half forward. Waterman crunched in the back. Comben, McDonald, Waterman collide. The ball's off hands, out of bounds in the same spot that Jacob Wiedering was cleaned up in the Origin game, but they all get back to their feet. That's good tough footy. It'll be tossed back in right on the junction at right half forward.
Head downstairs to a cash photo in just a moment. Ball about to be spun in. County umpire unfurls. Sherry front position against Flynn. Sherry got a hand on it. Spilled out, though, to Dersma. Oh, spun out of trouble. Kicks towards goal. He misses to the right-hand side, Willem Dersma. Minor score. A cash photo downstairs.
The Farmer Freeway end has been the scoring end today, and I know the flags on top of the stadium are blowing that way, but the wind at ground level is actually going quite strongly to the city end.
Parker brings the ball back in for North Melbourne. Kicks towards a wrestle. Larkey and Jimby. It goes over both. McCarthy for West Coast. Got a quick handball to Davis. Now into the path of Jimby. Gathers off ground level. Misses Yo by hand. And it bounced off the back of Yo. It just clipped him as the handball's behind him. So no last touch, last disposal here. It'll be tossed back in. About 75 metres out, 80 metres out from West Coast attacking goal. Flynn and Sherry been battling once more. Big tap from Flynn into the path of Kelly. Was tackled by Blamires and lost it. Sherry gathered. Got it to Powell, then to Sheasel. High kick up the wing. Jimby coming in, big spoil on Trembath. Ball spills to Allen for West Coast. He's smothered. Now Blameyer's trying to rip through and is slammed to the deck by Jimby. Will have a ball up just in front of the North Melbourne bench. 20 minutes gone. A catch for Rodar downstairs.
Good news for West Coast. Tyler Young is back on the ground.
That is good news. Both sides have lost a player. Logue out, Edwards out for North and West Coast respectively as the ball gets worked down the wing. There's out of play here. Reed's got a little bit to say. It's going to be spun back in. Milan Murdoch and O'Sullivan involved in a bit of push and shove. So between the two interchange gates, the umpire will spin it back in. North by 2 points. 21 gone in the second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Sherry takes front position. Didn't take it cleanly. Was being held. Will get the free kick going against Flynn. Sherry bobs up. Trots back. It's told to move it on. We'll do so with a kick towards right half forward. Waiting underneath it, Zane Dersma. Well done, though, by Bo Allen. Read it well. Moving it forward, the Eagles to Harley Reid. Then to Graham. Kicks across, half back. That's dangerous. Though well read there by Baker. Got under it, went away from Doverston. They surge through the middle. Baker kicks inside forward, 50. Bouncing towards Pink. Was able to get there in front of any Eagle in the vicinity. Kick beyond defensive 50. Blameyers hands it off to Stevens. Back to Blameyers at right half back. Hand pass again. Bobbles along the boundary line. Stevens couldn't get it. Murdoch can.
Turns it over to North Melbourne. Murdoch's handball to Davis. Short kick to Duff. Tyler under pressure. Paid the mark. Eagles want to take it quickly, but it's got to come back. Common was draped all over him. We saw the last touch will really have an impact there. Stevens had to try and keep it in, even though he was surrounded by the Eagles, and it led to a turnover. Now, Duff Tyler. Too far out to score. Kicks into the pocket. Waterman sets himself. So too Shanahan in the back. Big fist came. O'Sullivan. He grabbed it. Was tackled. Dispossessed by Yo. Spills to Harley Reid. Snap out of the pack. And takes off in celebration. Arms outstretched to the Eagles faithful. Having an impact is Harley Reid. West Coast all of a sudden find themselves in front. 8-5-53 to North Melbourne, 8-1-49. The Eagles have kicked 5 in a row this quarter. They trail by 30 points in the opening minutes.
Clarko would be beside himself setting up this game. He would have been thinking, we've got this one. And now they're going to go into half-time. How long to go? There's still a few minutes left, I think, and he's already behind. But just good scrapping by West Coast. They've just scrapped everywhere. I'll tell you who's had a real impact. Oh, the touch ball, is it?
Yeah, score reviewed. North are claiming that Finn O'Sullivan got a touch on it off the boot of Harley Reid.
But the men at the moment, like Harley Reid, like just looking at some of his numbers, he's at 180 metres gain this quarter, which is big for Harley. He's doing the work inside. So unfortunately that doesn't go for a goal. But the other one is Cooper Duff Tyler. Around the stoppage and even forward, he's going to be a real fine, real talent, and he's showing that right now.
So it's been recorded officially as a touch behind. The Eagles trail by a point. Sorry if you put that down in the record. Daniel goes on a run, kicks beyond defensive 50. Sherry was the back of a line of 4. Dealt with the others and then took the mark on his chest. He's got it at right half back. Looks inboard for an option. And gets told to move it on. It's over the top of Flynn, who was on the mark. Towards right half forward. Darling flew. Ball came from Duggan. Spilled down to Davis. Eagles burst away. Davis kicks into the left forward pocket. It was well read by McDonald's. Been looking into the sun. Floated across the North and takes the mark at right half back. 8-1 plays 7-6. 24 gone in the second term. Kangaroos still hanging on to this lead. As Mitch told you, it was 30 points their advantage. Opening minute of this quarter. Now it's just 1. Here's Comben. Long kick beyond defensive 50. Flynn, front position, had 2 goes at it. Couldn't mark it. St. Dersma got it out to O'Sullivan. Strongly tackled to ground. That's holding the ball. Locked up by Hamish Davis. Free kick to the Eagles on centre wing. Northern side of the ground. They still trail by a point. 25 gone in the second quarter.
Short kick by Davis to Devon Robertson. Former Lion representing West Coast home for the first time. Back in his home state of WA. Robertson high inside forward 50. Sherry. Strong mark in front of Flynn. It's a good battle this between the two. Sherry showing his class on that occasion. Handballs quickly to McKercher. Goes across his own defensive 50 in the left back pocket to Simpkins, sporting that white headband. Inspired by Zane Dersma, maybe. The younger teamer trying to be hip. He goes short to Caleb Daniel. He's just got the old-fashioned helmet. Back to Simpkin. Kick up the southern side. Shanahan stood in front, was crunched for West Coast. Jimmy got it through to Baker. Quick little handball to Newton. Back inside forward 50. It's too long for Duff Tyler to get there, and it bounces out of bounds, and they'll toss it back in the right forward pocket. Players nice and tired. 26 minutes into this second term. The sun still covering just less than half the ground. Flynn got in front position. Sherry pushed him out of it, then lost the ball. Flynn gathered, kicks towards Duff Tyler. He was dispossessed, coming through Sheasel. He's racking it up today. His handball, though, couldn't find Stevens. Cripps was able to come across and slap it out of bounds. But Harry Sheasel's up to, what was it now, this quarter? Well over 20. 22 already. We've still got a few minutes left in this first half.
Ball put back in. Sherry front position. Hand pass to no one in particular. His Graham was strong. His fend was high. Free kick going the way here of Sheasel. Eagles fans don't like the call, but it was there. Sheasel to Daniel. Runs into the left back pocket after taking a bounce. Will stab it short. Chance here to go beyond defensive 50 through North Melbourne's Trembath. Long kick towards left half back, and an intercept mark coming the way of the Eagles. They've got it there just forward of the wing. Short kick. Graham got crunched originally from the Bo Allen kick. Ball's in dispute at right half forward. Players piling on top. Umpire will come around and will eventually board up. Graham's underneath all of that. No surprise there. Ball up still 70 from West Coast goal. Sherry got there first. Tapped it down to Sheasel for North. Then to Davies-Uniacke. Hand pass to Sheasel. Back to Davies-Uniacke. That was well worked. Now to Simpkin. Beautifully done from North. Runs towards the logo southern wing. Kicks towards left half forward. Marked there by Darling. He'll wheel around. Goes looking for Larkey out the back. He got away from his opponents in Young. And Larkey marks at left half forward. That was slick from the Kangas. Bouncing down the southern side at Perth Stadium.
Well, just looking at the structure of the ground then, North Melbourne had a +1 behind the ball. Bo Allen was the +1 forward the ball, or behind the ball for West Coast. He just got lost in that transition, didn't know whether to come forward or not. And obviously North Melbourne were able to sort of run away from that contest and get through. And obviously the foot skills of Simpkin are elite. But, you know, the absolute dominance of West Coast has been evidence, unfortunately, give up one.
Larkey trots in, kicks his fourth. And North Melbourne give themselves a little bit of breathing space as we close in on half-time. The Kangaroos lead is put back to 7 points. 9-1-55 to the Eagles, 7-6-48. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner. Our experts, Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield.
Yeah, well, that was only the 5th inside 50 this quarter for North, as opposed to West Coast 17. That tells you how much of a domination it has been this quarter. It's been a domination in two separate quarters by both teams, so it deserves to... You can almost guarantee the next half is just going to be an arm wrestle without much scoring.
Well, contest is king, and West Coast, I've said all game, have been pretty solid in the contest. Just some of their method has been a little bit inconsistent, but this quarter, they've really dominated the contest game.
Sheasel's had 25 disposals for North Melbourne. In the middle, make it 26. I spoke too soon. Davies-Uniacke gives Sheasel the ball. High kick up and under. Flynn couldn't take the mark for West Coast. Coming through Powell for North Melbourne. Then Tim Kelly buried by Sherry. Ball bobbling around. Shanahan got a handball only as far as Sheasel, who got a handball back to Powell. North Melbourne deep inside forward 50. Good knock by Hoff. Just fisted it away towards Young for West Coast, who can clear it out towards the southern wing. Here's the battle of the little men again. Murdoch and Daniel. And Murdoch trying to dispose of it so he wouldn't be holding the ball. It's gone out of bounds and it was a handball. It's either dropping the ball or a handball. It's gone out of bounds. And the lasso rule means Caleb Daniel gets the free kick and can go back inside forward 50. Larkey on the lead. Wasn't a great kick. It rolls in front of him and rolls out of bounds in left forward pocket. It was a weird one. Murdoch was trying not to be holding the ball and he handballed it out of bounds and it's a free kick. He might have been out of bounds already.
Ball put back into play. He palms it straight back towards the boundary line. Zerha was in pursuit, was never going to get there. Another throw in.
So Sheasel 27 now. Second quarter, everyone, if you just tuned in.
Yeah, but I was looking at Sheasel's numbers. It's probably the last 5 or 6 minutes. He's gone from about 5 or 6 possessions. He's had, obviously, doubled his numbers.
The ruck got a telling tap. Reid was there for the Eagles in Harley, and then Umpire spotted a free kick here. What's he doing? It's going the way of Harley Reid. Now, he actually indicated the other way first time, which is why I was confused. It's against Zerha. So Reid will get it back here. So he has to go across and pick up the footy himself. Still time for another goal in this quarter. Gone past the 31-minute mark in the second term as Harley Reid got it to Hoff, who then moves it to Duggan. And the Eagles' two co-captains flares it out towards left half back. Chance here again to build up from Shanahan. Goes back to Duggan again. Eagles fans imploring their team to go forward. They trail by 7 points. Duggan kicks towards centre wing commentary side. Front position here was Parker. Couldn't take the mark. Goes to ground. It's been held into him. Ball up the calls. Dev Robertson who locked it in. As you heard. Former line. Now in Eagles colours. Sherry takes it. Great kick up into the air. Not far enough to be a mark. Kelly punched it forward anyway. Spills to ground. And players again will be piling in. And he locked in here. Powell underneath a couple of Eagles who'll get up and give it back to the umpire, who immediately throws it up into the air. One down by Duff Tytler to Davis to Yo, almost taken high. Slap forward here by Cripps. Getting there first though. Well read by McKercher. Gets it for North and a measured kick finds Daniel at right half back.
And kick it across into the sun to Parker at centre half back. Has to go and gather, but the only one after him is Matt Flynn, able to pick it up comfortably and go wide to the southern side by foot to Simpkin. He's king up the line looking for Constanti, punched away by Tom McCarthy. For what it's worth, Harry Sheasel is the joint record holder for the most disposals in a game in AFL VFL football with Tom Mitchell, 54. He's on halfway as we approach half-time. Ball's going to be tossed back in on the southern wing. Sherry in front of Flynn, tapped it down. It bounced off Willem Dersma, came back the way of North Melbourne. McKercher gathers. Handball wide to Powell. Kick up towards half forward for the Kangaroos. Shanahan at the back, read it well. Spare man did his job and took the intercept mark for West Coast. As the shade moves its way across Perth Stadium, he takes his time and kicks it out the southern side. Matt Flynn's on his haunches near that contest where Sherry was going up. A free kick's been paid to Sherry against Archer Reid. Not sure what happened to Matt Flynn, but he was down off the ball there. To wait and see. North Melbourne, for the time being, retain possession. And the siren will stop them from doing anything else. But a good fight back that quarter for West Coast. After North Melbourne kicked the first, they kicked the next 4 goals before North responded. So a 30-point margin, what was it, 24-point margin at quarter time is now reduced to a 7-point margin. 7-6, 48 the Eagles, 9-1, 55 North Melbourne.
So the goal kickers for North Melbourne, Nick Larkey, the skipper, has been outstanding. He's got 4, 2 to Zerha and singles to O'Sullivan, Powell and Curtis. While for West Coast, 2 to Archer Reid, 2 to Cripps, singles to Willem Dersma. And alongside him, Cooper Duff Tytler and Milan Murdoch. As Mitch said, 24-point lead to North Melbourne at quarter time, but it was 30 points in the opening minute of that quarter before West Coast got within 1. North's late goal from Larkey pushing it back out to 7. Before we hear from our experts, Cash Vodadars downstairs. Cash.
Yeah, the doctors walked with Matt Flynn to the team huddle. He seems to be moving okay, but Archer Reid has definitely got a limp on as he makes his way into the huddle as they exit the field as well. So he'll be one to keep an eye on in the second half.
It looked like there are a few sore players for West Coast making their way off the ground just a moment ago. Of course, both teams missing one for the rest of this game. Griffin Logue with a thigh is out, and Harry Edwards, after getting friendly fire to the head, out for the rest of this game as well. Just recapping that earlier game, put Adelaide by 63 points over the Bombers, but halftime here at Perth Stadium. It's been a ding-dong affair. Terrific stuff to watch as a neutral, just enjoying the action. North Melbourne up against West Coast. North by 7 points. Let's hear from our experts, Jared Schofield and Chris Waterman, with you on ABC Sport.
Well, I'm not surprised a few walking off with a glimpse. This is a brutal game of footy. It's pretty heavy, fast-paced, so the bodies are hitting pretty hard. So, but gee, it was just flipped on its head at quarter time. I mean, they dominated West Coast there after being dominated by North. One of the things that really has shone out in this, even though Cherry's had a little bit more than Flynn, is that the ruck contest is not anywhere near in Cherry's favour, particularly that second quarter. I reckon they really got on top there, West Coast, and started halving the contest. But, you know, you can say Shoes was at 27, Scully, but I don't think he had much impact on the game right there. Harley got himself, well, they all got themselves right into it, and they just upped the ante on everything. I mean, there's still 30 possessions in front, North, but they seem to be using their loose man a lot better, North. I don't reckon West Coast are bold enough. I don't think it's something that Duggo has had in his game all that much. And just take it and go and spread them and come in the other way. But, you know, they fought their way back into it.
Yeah, you know, I thought West Coast, as I said, they started the game at a frenetic pace. And the way they executed in that second quarter was exactly the same. But they were just obviously able to capitalise on all their work. Now, the contest game, just writing down some numbers, they're plus 13 on ground ball and they're plus 5 on contested possession. So you want to make sure that that's working well for you as a football team. Yes, they probably lost their way a little bit around centre bounce ascendancy in that quarter. But around the main players, like you talk about Sheasel and LDU, they weren't as impactful then as what they were in the first quarter. Sheasel was getting ball out of the space. His metres gain was high. As I said during the call, he probably had most of his possessions at the back end of that quarter. Whereas on the flip side with West Coast, we saw Harley Reid with metres gain. We saw Cooper Duff Tyler get involved in the game. We saw likes of Tim Kelly at those nearly moments starting to get in tight and get some clean ball to the outside. Then the game started to evolve, and the forward half game of West Coast in that quarter of football would be through the roof. If I was looking at the coaches board, it would have been all green in terms of time in the front half. It would have been nice if they'd kicked a few more, obviously, scores on the board and goals, but to have more inside 50s, more scoring shots, the contest in your favour, there's a lot to work with going into the second half. And obviously, I'm sure Minnie will be talking to the boys about that.
We just look at metres gained. Harry Sheasel's had 330, Harley Reid's had 290, but Sheasel's had 11 more possessions, so it just goes to show the impact that Harley's having on the ground.
Yeah, and it's great to see also with Harley. So it's great to see with Harley actually looking to join in on a handball receive. Everyone's been a knocker of him about his fitness. You know, this is my first real look at him this year. I haven't been down to any training, and it's my first eyes on him, and I can tell by his body shape he's in really good nick, and you can actually see him covering the ground. It's even like behind play or off ball running. That was always probably a question mark on Harley, but to his credit, he's put himself in a good position to have a really strong year, and he's showing that now, not just when he has the ball, but what he's doing off ball as well.
It's just been around the contest. I think just not having Sherry got a little bit dominant in the last few minutes there with hit-outs. But I reckon Flynn's just pushed him and bodied him up and not let him have the impact on the game that he normally has. So it hasn't been a dominant effect by Cherry, which is what people have been talking about with Witts last week and with Cherry when he's playing for North against other teams. I think Flynn has just gone out there and said, I've just got to push you around and stop, not let you have it your way. And you're right, Scubby, you mentioned Duff Tyler's and Archer Reid are both just getting their hand in there and making it hard for him. He's probably coming up against these skinny kids. He's looking at them thinking, I'll dominate, but they're not letting him have it his way.
Well, Cherry's going to do big minutes. He's that type of ruckman. So if you can get where it's offset, where Cooper Duff Tyler can actually ruck a little bit against Cherry and also Archer Reid, it ties him out. So when Flynn goes to him, he can actually then work him over as well. So they're actually working it really well, West Coast. It's like a bit of a three-prong attack at the moment.
the stats in regards to how the ruck's gone, Flynn versus Sherry, 34 ruck contests, they've gone hit-outs to advantage, which is the telling one. It's only 7-2 in favour of Sherry in that respect. So 16-9, but just 7-2 in regards to hit-out to advantage. And Sherry's had more hit-outs than anyone else you care to name, and we know how dominant he's been. He was, of course, selected for the State of Origin ruck, Victoria. So that's a terrific performance. The other one that stood out, interested to get your thoughts here, and you both spoke about it in that first quarter, but the score sources from turnovers, North Melbourne are 3+ points in this, so 5-1 to 4-4. But the first quarter, 5-1, 31 to 117 scores from turnover. The second quarter, it changed. 3-3, 21 West Coast, North Melbourne, not a point from turnovers in that second quarter. That's remarkable the way they've turned that around.
I think Scully mentioned it during that quarter. Jimby and a few of the other, even Bo Allen went back and started playing in front and going for their marks and hitting the ball first and not being led to the ball. And that just caused a different setup for North. They were getting it far too easy because their forwards were leading up. Their smalls were getting in front of the square and our defenders were sitting behind. They've taken the game on, and that's just completely upset their whole rhythm. So they've won the ball and just got it back the other way. So what's happened there is the mids that were bolting forward in the first quarter, Scully, are all getting caught out because West Coast have got their hands on the ball and they're now playing the terms towards them, dictating them.
Yeah, exactly right. And, when you've got pressure on the ball, on the opposition, and it's not free-flowing, well, then they don't have time to execute on the leads, and that's what West Coast, their pressure was through the roof, their contest was strong. Just want to go back to your stat around stoppage. I was just dissecting it even more. They're +6 on hit-outs to advantage at centre bounce. Now, it'll be interesting to see what quarter, in terms of that second quarter, what that looked like, because that's where the ascendancy changed a little bit at centre bounce for North Melbourne, where West Coast, I'd mentioned earlier, were actually on top. So it's a real battle in there because they're a talented midfield, but once you get field position, especially from centre bounce, it's so volatile. But on the back of that, you spoke about the rebounding effect of the West Coast half-backs and Jimby coming forward. Once you get that counter-punch going and you get field position and get confidence in behind it, you tend to put the foot on the throat a little bit, and that's what West Coast did.
It's been dare I say it, a half of 2 quarters, but it's been highly entertaining to watch. It's a 7-point margin in favour of North Melbourne over West Coast at half-time. Hopefully the second half delivers like the first has so far. Just repeating, the other game today, Port Adelaide by 63 points over the Bombers. We'll pause here at Perth Stadium. Back with plenty more, but right now let's get the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with David Rowlands. Northern Territory Emergency Services have issued flood emergency warnings for the communities of Beswick and Adelaide River as the Katherine region experiences intense rainfall from ex-tropical cyclone Narelle. Oliver Chaseling has more.
Residents of the Northern Territory community of Beswick have been told to prepare for major flooding from tomorrow morning, with water levels rising on the Waterhouse River. The West Arnhem Land community experienced major flooding a fortnight ago, along with Katherine. For residents of Adelaide River, intense rainfall is forecast to cause rapid river rises and for minor flood levels to be reached overnight, with major flooding possible tomorrow. Residents are warned to move away from low-lying areas if safe to do so, enact emergency plans and keep up to date with emergency broadcasts.
Pauline Hanson's One Nation has won its first ever lower house seat at an election outside of Queensland. The Deputy Mayor of the Adelaide Plains Council, David Payton, is set to become the One Nation member for Najuri in South Australia's Parliament, according to the ABC's projections. One Nation is in contention in several other electorates as well, including the regional SA seats of Hammond, McKillop and Narunga. The party's state leader, Corey Bernardi, says his party's result at the ballot box will change South Australian politics forever.
One Nation has learned many things from this campaign, and that means that we will be an even more formidable force at the next election. We will be unrelenting in our advocacy for South Australia, and I look forward to representing the voice of all of our constituents in the Parliament.
An Iranian news agency is reporting that Tehran is ready to cooperate with the International Maritime Organisation in order to improve maritime safety and protect seafarers in the Gulf region. It quotes Ali Mousavi, the Iranian representative to the UN Maritime Agency, saying the Strait of Hormuz remains open to all shipping except vessels linked to Iran's enemies. He says diplomacy remains Iran's priority and passage through the narrow waterway is possible by coordinating security and safety arrangements with Tehran, adding that Israeli and US attacks on Iran are at the root of the current situation in the strait. The Israeli Emergency Service says one person has been killed after the Israeli military reported strikes from Lebanon towards a community on Israel's northern border. The person died after a fire broke out in 2 vehicles near Israel's northern Galilee region. The Israeli military says there have also been injuries from the strikes. Hezbollah militants have continued firing rockets into Israel from southern Lebanon as Israeli forces conduct an operation against them there. A 27-year-old man is under police guard in hospital after being shot by a police officer at Logan, south of Brisbane. Police were called to Ewing Road at Logan Central last night following reports of an armed man causing damage to property and making threats. It's alleged the man was shot as he approached officers with a knife in his hand. Detective Acting Inspector Jason Kitto says the circumstances are tragic.
I can confirm that police officers were threatened at the time, and as a result, a single shot was fired, which has struck that man. QAS, obviously, and officers transported him to the PA hospital, where he's in a critical but stable condition at this point in time.
Looking at sport, and Australia's Hannah Green has won a 3rd straight golf tournament, claiming the Australian WPGA Championship on the Gold Coast by 4 shots. After winning Singapore's Women's World Championship and the Australian Open in her last 2 starts, Green held her nerve to win the Curry Webb Cup. A 2-under front 9 set the tone for Green before she shot an even back 9 to finish the tournament -16, ahead of Germany's Alexandra Fosterling and South Africa's Cassandra Alexander. The Matildas are still lamenting their missed opportunities in last night's 1-0 loss to Japan in the Women's Asian Cup soccer final in Sydney. They appeared largely stony-faced at a fan event today to mark their achievements throughout the tournament. After dominating the final against the world number 6 side, defender Winona Heatley says there are still positives despite the disappointment.
We didn't have much prep for it, so every game we had to use as prep for the next game, and I think we did that, and I think we came into peak at the end of the tournament against Japan, and I think we're playing very good football. So, yeah, I'm excited for what's to come, really.
And Port Adelaide has registered its first win of the AFL season, downing Essendon by 63 points at Adelaide Oval. Zach Butters starred for the Power as the side won 2013-133 to 10-10-70.
A tray of cocktails floated at us through the twilight. Who was this Gatsby fella?
A jazz-soaked reimagining of The Great Gatsby.
That's the best thing a girl can be in this world. A beautiful little fool.
Search for Gatsby in Harlem on ABC Listen.
Exciting, rule-breaking, shaping who we are.
When the song was released, it was banned.
Inspiring arts in When the War is Over, Take 5 with Zan Rowe and the new season of The Piano.
It's fabulous.
Creativity and so much more on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Power for the Kangaroos. Kick towards Constanti, goes back to Power by hand. Will kick inside forward 50. He wants Larky. Spoil came from Jinby at the back. Zurha able to gather, goes to ground. Wrapped up then by Baker. He's been given a free kick. Cam Zurha with one already today. Boots across the 50. Kicks on its way. He liked it at the moment. It headed towards the big sticks. It sailed between them. Zurha's got a couple. North Melbourne, their lead is out to 30 points.
Back to Graham, now on the boot. Inside 50, looking for a target. Shanahan can't mark. Oh, Cripps was almost through. Well done by O'Sullivan to knock it away from him. It spills back to Cripps though. Then to Milan Murdoch. He loves a goal. 2 last week, now he's on the board today.
Allen comes down the commentary wing. Waterman turn inside McDonald. There's 2 Eagles, 3 inside forward 50. The kick goes the way of Archer Reid. He hands it off to Cripps, who runs into an unguarded goal square and kicks the goal.
Milan Murdoch rode the tap beautifully. Kicks a grubber inside the forward 50. Waterman got a hand on it. McDonald trying to clear it under pressure. Shanahan to Waterman to Cripps. Go again, Jamie. Snap around the body was brilliant. West Coast have 3 in a row.
Shanahan marks, puts it inside forward 50, out to grab Archer Reid. marking 40 from goal. We'll put boot to ball in line with the left-hand behind post. Here comes Archer Reid looking for his second of the afternoon. It was never going to miss. The moment he kicked it, it went straight as an arrow. Kicks towards left half forward, marked there by Darling. He'll wheel around, goes looking for Larkey out the back. He got away from his opponents in Young, and Larkey marks at left half forward. Larkey trots in, kicks his fourth, and North Melbourne give themselves a little bit of breathing space.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Couple of things to bring you up to date with before we get back into the second half here at Perth Stadium. Worth mentioning the NRL scores. The Eels have beaten the Dragons 30 points to 20, and an hour gone between the Cowboys and Gold Coast. North Queensland lead that one by 8 points, 24 points to 16. Now, the Sydney Morning Herald has just dropped the summer cricket schedule. No surprises with the men's test series against Bangladesh in Darwin and up at Mackay. That first August 13 to 17, second test August 22 to 26. The men, 3 one-dayers against England, starting here at Perth Stadium on November the 13th. November 15, they're in Adelaide to take on Adelaide day-nighter. These are day-nighters and twilights. And then on Wednesday, November the 18th at Bellerive Oval. And then there's a T20 International Series, 5 of them at the MCG, the Gold Coast, the Gabba, the SCG, and in Canberra between November 21 and December 2. The men's test series up against New Zealand. The first test will be here again in Perth, December the 9th. First test, 10:20 first ball. Second test in Adelaide against New Zealand. Third test against New Zealand at the MCG. No surprises. Boxing Day, the fourth test at the SCG, January 4 to 8. New Zealand's got a T20 series against the women. 3 games starting February 21 at North Sydney, Manuka, and then in Melbourne. And then a one-day series as well, again in Melbourne at the Junction. Karen Rolton in Adelaide for the next 2, and then of course the 150th anniversary test match at the MCG, that between March 11 and 15. I'm disappointed, just personally I've got to be honest, disappointed that there's no women's test. New Zealand haven't played a women's test since 2004, but no women's test in the fixture so far. But really excited, just personally, for 2 reasons. The first of the men's one-days against England, November 13 here at Perth Stadium, and then the test series against New Zealand, the 4 tests, just repeating, at Perth Stadium, Adelaide Oval, MCG and Sydney. So our friends at the Gabba will be very unhappy, but the first test, November 9, starting here at Perth Stadium, up against New Zealand, the 4 test series. Of course, let's not forget that 150th anniversary test match against England at the MCG, starting on March the 11th. With all the other numbers, Mitch Turner.
Some of these stats from here at Perth Stadium. The team numbers, disposals, North Melbourne lead that 208 to 180. Contested possessions, the Eagles have edged ahead 82 to 78. The clearance count, North's way 24 to 17. The tackles, 37 to 36, the Eagles' way. The inside 50s, West Coast in front, 29 to 22. The hit-outs, no surprise in the way of North Melbourne, 25 to 15. Individually, Harry Sheezel's had 27 touches and 6 clearances. He's halfway to the record that he owns already. Davies Uniacke, he's had 19. Daniel 16. Powell and Sherry with 14 apiece. Harley Reid for the Eagles has had 16. Hamish Davis 14, Bo Allen 13, 11 apiece for Tim Kelly and Jack Graham. It is North Melbourne, though. On the main stat, they lead by 7 points.
So on that record again for Sheezel, what are we chasing today, Mitch?
54 he did against Richmond last year, which is equal top with Tom Mitchell, who also had 54.
He's on record pace. Second half underway. Mitch Turner on ABC Sport.
Make it 28. Harry Sheezel's kick. It wasn't an effective one. Went straight to Kelly out of the middle, who got the handball across to Harley Reid. Had a couple of grabs. Got it back to Kelly. Into the pocket. Waterman outstretched. Just couldn't reel it in. Ball goes out of bounds. It was almost perfect to Jake Waterman. He just had to reach and couldn't quite get it to stick. A little bit of extra grip on the hands, maybe. The umpires just... You know what? I have a feeling the umpire's seen the replay on the big screen, because the boundary umpire came in and was confident it was a boundary throw-in. The field umpire was nowhere near it. There was a replay that went up on the screen, and then the umpire in the field blew the whistle and changed it. So might have been an unofficial review. Anyway, ends up with North Melbourne. Free kick to them, kick out to the wing. Baker gets it for West Coast. Over to Willem Dersma. Handball to his housemate, fellow number 1 pick, Harley Reid. His handball a little bit too hot for Graham. Ended up being able to gather it though. Gives it to Tim Kelly. Kick towards Yo inside 50. Couldn't take the mark. Crashing through and tackled under the pack was Jacob Newton. There'll be a ball up in the right forward pocket for West Coast. Only about 20 metres away from their attacking goal. Sherry and Flynn through battle again. Both got a hand to it. Cripps couldn't get a kick to it. He dropped the ball. The umpire was in position 1A. Tackled by Blamires, who's looked good, the youngster. A couple of good games in a row. He'll have the free kick in the left back pocket.
North centre beyond their defensive 50. Decent battle here. Trying to get up to it was Zane Dersma. At the bottom of it, taken strongly by Davies Uniacke. Wrapped up, gathered and taken to ground. That is a terrific tackle by Hoff. Spun him around and he gets the free kick for West Coast. Too far out to score himself. He's 70 from goal. Hoff puts the Eagles back towards full forward. Big pack flies. Front position. The mark has been paid. That's a terrific grab. Quite rightly, a big ruffle of the head of Duff Tightler. And the number 4 draft pick from the 25 draft can go back and have a shot. 45-degree angle to the right. Will be putting boot to ball from about 25 out. Second mark for him, looking for a second goal. Duff Tightler on the approach. Puts it through. Eagles back to within a point. Opening 2.5 minutes of the third term. There is so many talented young players out there. You look around and go, where is Johnny Young? I'm showing my age, but this is young talent time today between West Coast and North Melbourne. Let's get the thoughts of our experts, Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield.
Thought he was a little bit lucky to get that. Charlie Comben was in front, but the old days it was man in front, Scully. I'm not sure about that one.
Jump ball. But as you said, the talent, as you said, Dersma, Reid involved. We're chucking a bit of flavour with Tim Kelly. It was great football by West Coast.
Well, we play FIBA rules, so that'll be possession arrow. Which way is it going? It was the Eagles, apparently. Ball back in the middle. The 2 rucks again. This time Flynn tapped it straight down to Sheasel. Interesting looking handball. Got it only towards Harley Reid, who is wrapped up by Sherry. Ball is going to be tossed up right bang in the middle of the ground. Players crowd around. Flynn, little tap towards Graham, went without it. Sheasel got a handball to O'Sullivan. His kick smothered by McCarthy allows the Eagles to go forward. Duff Tightler from behind, able to gather. Handball to Cripps. Cripps running in to put the Eagles in front. His 3rd goal gives them the lead. And West Coast continue this resurgence as they look for their first win of the season. They hit the lead 9-6-60 the Eagles, 9-1-55 North Melbourne. Played just 4 minutes in this third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Chris Waterman, Jared Schofield picked up where they left off. The momentum's just continued in this third term.
But it's the area of the game we all were worried about at the start of this match, and that was the middle. And they've been able to halve everything. They've got their hands on the ball first in this start of this third quarter. After the second quarter, they dominated in there. But Cherry's just not being able to have the impact that everyone thought he would.
Back in the middle, Sherry does win this down, but it's Yo who's able to gather, crashes into a couple of North Melbourne players. He took him on, he's pinned for holding the ball. Sherry plays it off to Sheasel. Another disposal to him. Kicks towards left half forward. Jinby up against Larkey. Spilled down to Baker for the Eagles. To Graham. Sweeping hand pass to Harley Reid. Will take a bounce on the logo. Hands it back to Graham running by. Graham 70 out from goal. Right half forward goes looking towards Yo at full forward. Came off Sherry's hand. Spilled at the back. Fullback was Comden. Ugly kick. Might be stolen here. Davis gets it for the Eagles. He's tackled to ground. Stevens got him. Umpire says we'll ball it up. 35 out from the Eagles' goal, deep in the left forward pocket. West Coast going to the city end of Perth Stadium in this third term. They lead by 5 minutes gone.
Flynn taps it to Yo, spins out of one tackle, stands up in the second, handballed it towards Waterman. McDonald was able to quickly flick it across to Davies-Uniacke, though, who steady kicks the ball to the left back pocket where Simpkin can mark and go beyond. Defensive 50 to his fellow headband wearer, Zane Dersma. I'm still convinced Simpkins trying to be hit with the kids. He gets it back to, they're waxing the ball now as he runs further up the wing and receives the kick.
They're all trying to look like Oscar Baker, aren't they?
Yeah, well, the performance he put in the other night, who wouldn't want to look like him? Simpkin runs around, kicks up the wing. Jinby set himself, couldn't take the mark. There was a fist in there from Zerha, and the ball rolls between the interchange gates. And they'll toss it back in. Eagles swing the changes. Ryan Murdoch back onto the field. Sherry and Flynn stalking each other in a slither of sunshine on Perth Stadium. It's a wonky throw. Sherry got there first. Came the way of the Eagles because Flynn followed up and smashed it forward towards Murdoch. Handball across towards Robertson now. Kick into the pocket. Waterman had a defender draped all over him in McDonald as he punched it out of bounds. Pleading for a free kick, and now there's a bit of lip coming from Parker and McDonald. Bit of a smile from Jake Waterman. You seen the replay? Hold anything?
No, that was good defence.
There you go. No case to answer. Sherry takes it out of the ruck. Flynn, clever little toe poke to Shanahan. Dribbles towards goal. Shanahan gets his first. And Matt Flynn, what an impact he's having. And now the two teams get into each other. And Parker and McDonald and Waterman, they're all in it again. That's three players who, as they say, are good on the lip. What it means for West Coast is the margin's out to 11 points. 10-6, 66 to 9-1, 55. Jakey's getting fired up.
Oh, as we can see, the stoppages tendency, they've kicked 2 stoppage goals this quarter. They're just taking field position. They're not trying to be cute or overdo it with their hands. They're taking territory by foot. They're playing an extra couple up at stoppage, so they've got some isolation forward of the ball. And the forwards are competing really well, winning one-on-ones, as we've seen with Dove Tyler. Yeah, we're seeing the talent that he's showing, but they're just super clean forward of the ball.
Remember, West Coast trailed by 30 points in the opening minute of the second term. 8.5 into the third, they're up by 11. On the restart, McKercher will bring it away for the Kangaroos. Gave it to O'Sullivan. Long kick inside forward 50. Going to ground was Duggan. Behind them, it's been marked here. Nonetheless, the Eagles will get an opportunity to build up once more from their defensive 50 through Young. Not a great kick this time. That was pretty ugly along the ground from Robertson towards centre half back. It's been locked in. Free kick being spotted out of all this. Coming the way here of Duggan. A great rebound from Deb Robertson. Duggan goes short. Oh, McCarthy run into trouble. Curtis got him. Just got the hand pass out to Allen. Allen just gets a hand pass away to McCarthy. Holding the ball, though. It's going to be Davies-Uniacke affecting the tackle on Allen, who's given the free kick. Goes into the left forward pocket. He wanted to stand. He couldn't get there. Good pressure came from Jinby. High fives, Graham in the vicinity. And his other teammate, now the co-captain in Duggan, will head back towards full-back with a throw-in 35 out from the Kangaroos attacking goal. They're heading to the left of our broadcast position in this, the third term.
Sherry gets in front of Archer Reid on this occasion. Ball comes to the front of the pack. Good follow-up from Sherry. Laid the tackle on Robertson, who managed to get a handball out to Graham, then to Kelly. Now Duggan. The Eagles running off half-back. Inside to Hoff. Shook a couple of tackles. Got it away to Allen, who ran into Duggan. Now back to Robertson. His kick smothered. The Eagles still in position 1A, though, as Cripps comes out to meet it on the wing. Handballs to Hoff. Can send it inside the forward 50. Over the back. Duff Tyler couldn't mark. Shanahan overran it. Duff Tyler follows up. Handballs to Yo. Bending ball around the body. Punches the air. And so too do the Eagles fans in unison with their champion. He's back out there this year and he's playing good footy. Elliot Yo, who gets his first of the day. And West Coast are storming 4 in a row to start this quarter. 11-6, 72 West Coast, 9-1, 55 North Melbourne. 10 minutes travelled in the third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. He's playing forward and he's kicking goals.
Dare I say it, Scully, North looks shot. They can't get their hands on the ball at the moment, and West Coast are just dominating. I don't know where they turn to at the moment. They've just completely, from their eighth goal, they've just kicked one, which is in the last quarter and a half. They've just stopped.
There's a huge roar for the Eagles. Archer Reid wins it down in the middle against Trembath. Came out the side. This will be holding the ball. Wrapped up. Kelly was well tackled. Opportunity again for North, who've had it a couple of times, and Kircher winning that free kick. North inside forward 50, but haven't been able to convert for a long time. Duggan got a hand pass to no one in particular. Robertson able to gather, worked it on to McCarthy, dropped possession, or dropped the football. Davies Uniacke gave it back to O'Sullivan, kicked towards full forward. Here's Larkey out after it, gathers, gives it on to Zane Dersma, who snaps with the left and misses the lot. From the left forward pocket, couldn't get it to curl back around. Eagles will have the free kick at right full back. 11-6-72 West Coast. 9-1-55 the Kangaroos. 12 gone in the third on ABC Sport.
Baker goes short by foot to Kelly at right half back. They've had just 2 scoring shots North since the 28-minute mark of the first term. Graham takes a mark outside 50 under pressure. So kicked a goal to make it 7-1-43 at the 28-minute mark of the first. They're 9-1-55. They've kicked 2 goals since. Up the wing goes Graham. Willem Dersma punches it away from his brother. Ball in dispute coming through was O'Sullivan. He's harassed by a couple of Eagles. Now Graham on top of it, trying to crawl away, and Zane Dersma grabs him. Toss the ball up right below our commentary position as Sheasel comes back onto the ground. Up to 31 touches now. Archer Reid taps it in the ruck to the advantage of Hoff, who overran it. Curtis stole it for North, got it to Davies Uniacke, then to McKercher, back to Davies Uniacke, inside 50, shook the tackle. It ends up with Doverston, who kicks on goal. That's his first in the big leagues. Lockie Doverston has been quiet today, but that's a special moment, and North Melbourne recognise it. They needed a goal, and it's the second game up. Pick 16 from last year, who gets his first in AFL footy. Opportunistic by North. 10-1-61 they move to. The Eagles are 11-6-72. Margin back to 11 points. It's their third goal in this, last 2 quarters of footy.
Boy, they needed that just to keep into the game. It was well thought out. The player that's just been huge around the contest is Jack Graham. He's just been in everything. Just throwing his body. He's not all going his way, but he's just tackling and hitting. And Dev Robertson started to get way back into it as well.
Bounce in the middle. Down by North, but it came quickly to Archer Reid. Well done up against Trembath. Reid, the Archer variety, kicks towards right half forward. Getting back there, Blamires under pressure. Hand pass to anyone would do. Newton's right there. He's wrapped up. West Coast player will pick himself up off the deck after Daniel's tackle. Right in front of goal. About 35 metres out. West Coast forward 50. Archer Reid again won it down against Trembath. Newton tries to take it away. It's been locked in by Parker. Good aggressive play by the experienced Roo. And the umpire puts it up. Trembath won it down. Kelly was out after it, couldn't gather it cleanly first time. It spilled out to Duff Titler. He has a long-range shot, off balance, misses everything to the right-hand side. No change to that score. West Coast lead by 11 points. 15 gone in the third.
McDonald sends it outside defensive 50 over the head of both Larkey and Jinby. Jinby leads the race back. Gathers it, handball to Baker. His handball knocked down by Zerha and out of bounds through the interchange gates. Larkey's got that left knee heavily strapped now after tweaking it in the first quarter. But he's still out there. He's got 4 goals to his name, the North skipper. Ball is tossed in right in front of the interchange gates. In front, Trembath knocks it down, comes away with Powell. North Melbourne can go through Simpkin. High kick on the left boot. Tracking him back was Robertson. Couldn't take the mark. Zerha dived on top of it. Couple of Eagles on top of him. Umpire says that's okay. Ball between wing and half forward. Broadcast side of the ground. Archer Reid up against Trembath. Knocked down to Sheasel. Another disposal. High kick inside the forward 50. No mark taken. Players going to ground everywhere. In the end, it is paid to Brady Hoff. Last man standing in the pack. Threw the hand up, brought it in, the Eagle, and now can clear defensive 50. Archer Reid drops the mark. It's off hands, and Davis will see it. Out of bounds where we were just a moment ago. In between wing and half forward, they'll ball it in. It's the Eagles by 11 points. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Good crowd in. Eagles fans getting what they were hoping for, a competitive game, and they're tied in front at the moment. Sherry took front position, got it down to Bo Allen though, bursts away for West Coast. From the logo, commentary wing, kicks deep into the right forward pocket. Ball wasn't a lucky bounce as far as Duff Tytler was concerned. Comben in the right spot, gathered for North Melbourne and puts it into the right back pocket. Chance for Lemires to build up again. Or Stevens rather. And Stevens from right full back will kick beyond defensive 50. No mark taken. Darling underneath it. Ball comes out for West Coast. McCarthy sweeps a hand pass forward to the co-captain in Baker. Got dealt with and kicks out of bounds on the full. But it's going to be back for a push in the back. Out of all of that against Constanti. So Baker will have it just shy of where the 50-metre arc meets the boundary line at left half forward. Looks to move it inboard with a kick, and he's been able to find Waterman, who marks. Got just a little bit of separation on Pink. Goes to ground. Good mark. Waterman will be up and having a shot at goal. Deep in the left forward pocket, he'll put boots a ball from 45 out.
I'll tell you what, I like Bo Allen taking off before and getting it into the forward line, and I did like a little bit of toe from Cooper Duff Tyler down then. With his movement, that looked to be exciting from Allen to Duff Tyler there.
Well, I think Bo Allen's been pretty exciting all day today.
Yeah.
He's actually shown some really good speed, made some good decisions with the ball too.
Jake Waterman, 3 goals last week. Comes in now, kicks from 48 metres out, and he's pushed it across the face. Out to the right-hand side for a minor score, 11-7-73 to the Kangaroos. 10-1-61, 18 gone in the third term.
Caleb Daniel brings the ball back into play. Kicks towards defensive 50. No mark taken going back for North Melbourne. It spills to Willem Dersma off a couple of steps. And the number one's got 2. The Eagles, young star, kicked his first already in AFL footy today. Now he's got another. And they wrestle back the momentum again. They respond to North Melbourne's goal. 12-7-79 for West Coast. North Melbourne 10-1-61 margin. Back out to 18 points. 19 minutes played. Third term here at Perth Stadium. Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield in the box with us.
We were just talking about Bo Allen and Duff Tyler. You can throw in Will Dersma as well. There's just so much to get excited about now with where West Coast are heading. And you're still going to be excited about North. And this is the thing about these two teams. They're going to play like this. They're going to be up and down in games, up and down from week to week. Right now, well, after what we saw in the first 20 minutes, West Coast are up.
I don't think Robbie Williams is coming to Perth, but he would say the kids are all right. Flynn wins it down, hits the deck, taken though by Sherry. Tries to work it forward. There's a holding decision going against North Melbourne. Yo, no opportunity to go and get the football. He gets the free kick for the Eagles. Sends it high and long. It'll land inside forward 50. Big fly came from Archer Reid. Couldn't mark. Spilled to Robertson. Kicks towards full forward. Here's a decent battle. Oh, Parker went up. Couldn't mark. Fortunately for the Kangaroos. Spilled out to Common. Last man back. Kicks towards the defensive edge of the centre square. It's marked by Sheasel. Sheasel goes looking for Darling. Great score behind by Jinby. Runs through the centre circles. Again sends it back inside the attacking 50. Trembath is back there for the Roos. And he'll put it out to Stevens, who marks it right half back.
Had a bit of space, Stevens, but had nothing ahead of him by way of teammates. So he's forced to wait just beyond right half back. Left footer. And down the boundary line, kicks up the wing, looking for Darling again. Once again, Jinby punches it away. Baker in there for the Eagles. Couldn't find a teammate by hand. Darling trying to tap it out. Only as far as his premiership teammate in Duggan for the Eagles, who loses it over the boundary line. It'll be tossed in. Just a couple of slithers of sun on the playing surface now here at Perth Stadium. Most of the ground covered by shade. Look at that southern side where the ball will be spun back into play. Sherry had first hand to it, was looking for Curtis, couldn't grab it. Stevens couldn't over North Melbourne. Through traffic, high kick inside the forward 50, and this time Darling does have enough separation, reads the drop of the ball and takes the mark just inside right half forward. Will kick from about 50 metres out, tight to the boundary as the boos ring out for the Eagles premiership player. And they won't go away. He's played the casual 298 games for West Coast, 532 goals, an All-Australian, a four-time leading goal kicker, a premiership player. And the boos ring out louder than the cheers. Darling's set shot is a floater towards the goal square. Curtis got free. No one marked him. And he marked the ball. Curtis will now have a set shot from a 45-degree angle to the left, about 20 metres out. Just wandered through Paul Curtis, and the ball landed in his lap. Makes his approach, kicks the goal, and Paul Curtis has his second, and North Melbourne able to answer back to the Eagles to close the gap again. 11-1-67. Eagles at 12-7-79, margin back to 12 points as the crowd just takes a moment as North Melbourne continue to keep themselves in this game.
Well, he's one of many that were quite prevalent in the first quarter that have just disappeared until now. He really hasn't had much impact on the game, and you know, that's again, I couldn't quite see who was
off, maybe it let him go.
Yeah, you just can't. You can never assume it's going to be your play. You've just got to play it out. But he's an opportunist forward, Scully. They just pop up when you don't need them to, and they hurt you.
Well, they're the critical moments right now, this period right now with 6 minutes to go.
Ball's back in the middle. Sherry against Flynn. Sherry with the telling tap. Down to Davis Uniacke. There's a free kick spotted. It will come back for North. Davis Uniacke will take it. Immediately puts it deep inside forward 50. Curtis tried to tap it forward. Jinby read that well in the right spot. Got it out to Duggan. Forced to go back. Comes back to Baker. Baker had options on short. Dersma, the Eagle, was one of them. And then he turns it over with a disappointing kick that's marked again by Davies Uniacke at right half forward. Pauses for a moment to assess the options. It's a congested forward line, but leading out, Sheasel towards the boundary line, marks 47 from goal, deep in the right forward pocket. Sheasel with 33 disposals already. He's good enough to kick it. He likes his chances. It's a 12-point game. The Eagles went out to lead by 3 goals. Their biggest lead of the match. North kicked the last. Here's Sheasel from 49 metres out. It's not going to be a goal. It's towards the teeth of goal. Punched out towards the boundary line, and Doveston can't keep it in. Throw in 15 metres around to the left-hand side of the left-hand behind post. North attacking the city end in this third term. 24 minutes gone. Still West Coast lead, as I said, 2 goals.
So can North Melbourne find another one here? Let's cut that margin back a little further. Very shallow throw in. Sherry met it first. Tapped down to Zerha, who was tackled from behind by Hoff immediately and crunched by Baker. And now he wants to go on with it. Baker and Zerha. Neither of those two are going to back down. A couple of other teammates getting involved. Umpire correctly just says, let's throw it up. Ball tapped down. The fight continues on in the background. Graham, he picks it up, is tackled by Sherry. Wouldn't want to stand between Baker and Zerha. Both feisty characters. Ball tossed up. Punched by Sherry only as far as Graham for West Coast. Handball back to Waterman. Sends a spiral up the wing. Big pack forms. No one takes the mark. Yo at ground level though. Gathers for West Coast. High kick. No one home. Forward to the wing. But Toby Pencook and mark for North Melbourne and reset. They trail by 12 points.
Eagles have had everyone back defensively. Pink to take that mark, uncontested, moves it to Comben, marking it left half back. Still plenty of time before three-quarter time. 26 minutes gone in the third. Comben high and long towards left half forward. The big fly and the fist from Duggan came in from the side. Solid contact with the footy. Just tumbled its way towards the Eagles bench, throwing right beneath our broadcast position on the northern wing.
Well, Minnie's gone into save this quarter mode. They've dropped one behind the play, which is Jake.
Jake Waterman. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. As North try to bring it away, Parker crashed into ground by Yo. Ball jars out. Robinson emerges with it for the Eagles. Hand pass over the top. Cripps taps it to his own advantage. Gathers the bouncing ball. Pressure right from Simpkin. Great kick inside forward 50. And diving out to take the mark is Shanahan. 47 from goal. Right up against the boundary right forward pocket.
Gee, I'll tell you what, West Coast were flying into that contest. There was three mids at four to that. And Cripps had the choice of handballing or going short.
Once again, it's the contest. You know, you got Devon Robinson, who's been an absolute bull this quarter. Some of his, we know why we drafted him or traded him. So, he's been obviously instrumental in that.
Here is Shanahan from hard up against the boundary. It looks like a great kick. It is! What a terrific goal. Shanahan's got his second. If he was any further towards the fence, he would have been overwritten in the front row. And the Eagles respond and push that lead out to an equal game high for them of 18 points. 13-7-85. North Melbourne 11-1-67. 28 gone in the third. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary. Our experts, Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield.
Well, I think you mentioned early on, Muddy, is that the likes of Graham, Robinson, Kelly, Baker. We've talked a lot in this game around the talent of our young players for West Coast, but the senior players, Yo as well, have really sort of led the charge too. The bullocking work they've done inside. So it's all coming together, and like I said, their dominance is coming through.
6 goals to 2 this quarter in favour of West Coast. Ball back in the middle, caught under the tackle by Reid. It was O'Sullivan. He's caught holding the ball. The Eagles win the free kick. Reid handball off to Kelly. Kick inside the forward 50. Trembath, big spoil. Only as far as Willem Dersma to Matt Flynn, who steps around one. The ruckman with the fancy footwork and the flawless finish. Oh, big men can move. Matt Flynn. What a goal. 14-7-91 the Eagles, 11-1-67 North Melbourne. Lead back out to 24 points. How do you like that from Matty Flynn? He'll be talking about that for the rest of his life.
Twinkle toes Flynn, they say. It's great work, but once again, centre bounce free kick, territory, contest, and the big ruckman getting involved. He's been instrumental this game. He's been working tirelessly inside. But he does have the knack of getting forward and having an impact.
If you're listening to us throughout Perth on 102.5, you can hear Matt Flynn on Thursdays on Breakfast with Mark Gibson before every Eagles home game. What a performance he's putting in today. Plenty to talk to Gibbo about next time they chat. North Melbourne will bring it away. Comes out through O'Sullivan to Simpkin, now to Stevens. He's just forward of the wing. Southern side of the ground. Zerha flew as the kick went inside forward 50. Big pack up. It's going to be locked in. Ball up the call. Daniel will climb up. Just got a little assistance to Liam Baker. First game of the season for the co-captain. Missed first game because of suspension from the previous year. And the restart. No one gets a telling tap away. It's going to be held in here again. Umpire will ball it up once more. Still in the right forward pocket for North Melbourne. Most of the ground now in shade. Artificial light yet to take any effect though. And from the restart, spill up out the back, and there's a shot on goal that's going to go across the face. It misses the lot. And Constanti, no change to that scoreboard. Gone past the half an hour mark. 14-7-91 the Eagles, 11-1-67 That's the Kangaroos. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen.
Ruben Ginbey kicks the ball back into play over the head of everyone. Archer Reid for West Coast gathered. Handball off to Hamish Davis. Kicks off a step. Pink going back. Punched the ball forward and it was straight into the path of Yo, who sockers it along the ground out of bounds. So last touch rule will go the way of North Melbourne. A cash photo downstairs.
Hamish Davis is suffering with some pretty bad cramp right in front of me after kicking that.
Yep, he looks like he's learning to walk on the tiptoes. Hamish Davis is running towards the bench as Parker goes short to Simpkin. Kicks it up the wing from behind. Trembath, good grab. Rose up, marks it over the top of Archer Reid. And now send the ball inside forward 50 for North Melbourne. Kicks to a contest. Coming across is Young. Spoils the ball towards the boundary. Zerha was tracking it. Couldn't reel it in. Goes out of bounds in the left forward pocket. Ball will be tossed back in. Deep in North Melbourne's attack. Trailing by 24 points. Just the 2 goals this quarter. After they kicked 7 in the first. All back into play. Sherry went the fist. Reid was taken without the ball by Sherry. No free kick given. And he was drilled without the footy. Should consider himself unlucky. He went to take possession and Sherry buried him into the turf. Slowly gets to his feet. Curtis takes Duggan off the ball and they will give that free kick. As Harley Reid may have just given a little one to Tristan Sherry on the way back and said, I think I owe you there. Eagles have it back. Duggan with a free kick across his own face of goals to Ginbey.
No one goes towards him. He could set up a little tea party. He's got that much space and time. Eventually he'll go on a run. Cripps wanted it at centre half back. Instead he'll kick towards the southern wing. Spills down here to Newton. Hand pass to Yo. It's an open forward line. Yo has gone from about 90 out and it takes a right-hand turn and tumbles away across the boundary line for a throw-in at right full forward. Just having a look at the hit from Sherry on Harley Reid. Solid tackle. Thrown in again. Right full forward for West Coast. Yo's gone to ground here. It's going to be a free kick against him though, saying that Sherry had no opportunity to contest the ruck battle. Sherry will have it at full back for North Melbourne. North Melbourne at the moment find themselves 24 points down. Game high lead for West Coast. 33 minutes gone in the third.
Clearing kick by North Melbourne. Outside defensive 50. Flynn couldn't mark off hands. Zerha got a handball to Blamire. Stolen by Graham for the Eagles. Takes off. Now a handball to Robertson. 55 out. Kicks into the middle of the forward 50. Going back. Good grab by Stevens. And has runners outside 50 if he can find one. Constanti takes the mark, but the Eagles have the numbers ahead of him. It's just beyond right half back, so he has to wait. Now needs to pinpoint a pass up the wing and does so to Parker. The veteran kicks inside the centre square over the head of Davies Uniacke. Taken by Flynn. West Coast are going forward again. Cripps marks attacking edge of the broadcast wing. Has a target in the pocket. Kicks in the Harley Reid direction. Can't mark. Comben over the top spoiled him. Coming through. Yo! Taken high. Comben went the tackle, got him around the neck with a coat hanger. And Yo will have the free kick on a very tight angle in the right forward pocket. As Harley Reid's a little sore and leaning up against the fence, having a drink off the field when he's not actually off the field. He's just chilling. And Elliot Yo will have the set shot. Tight angle after the siren at three-quarter time. Already has one, Elliot Yo. Umpire giving him some instructions. Elliot Yo giving them to the security officer and says, take a bit of a walk here. Elliot Yo to extend the three-quarter time margin. From outside the boundary line. Drop punt from Elliot Yo. Threads the needle. Pumps up the crowd. The Eagles celebrate, and now they're into Charlie Comben. It's 10-on-1. They're up against the fence in the right forward pocket. Eagles are remonstrating, and the tensions are spilling over the boundary line in the right forward pocket at the City end. The Eagles are up by 30 points. 15-7, 97 to North Melbourne. 11-1, 67 thanks to Yo's second goal. But Charlie Comben was enemy number one. And now Jake Waterman just wants to go into the middle of the North group and have a few words as well. Toby Pink's Guernsey is halfway down his chest. It's been torn open. And Jake Waterman is doing everything he can to get to Charlie Comben. And Tristan Sherry is Kevin Costin, the bodyguard, keeping him away. That is three-quarter time as the teams eventually separate. Clint Wilden.
So Yo, after kicking the goal, turned and went to the crowd, and then Reid went running past Comben, who has got Reid high, and he's gone to the ground, Reid, holding his face. And so the Eagles got around Reid to see what happened, and then the rest of the Eagles went straight in to get right stuck in to Comben for the double. One for giving away the free kick, almost taking Elliot Yeo head off, and then for that high knock on Harley Reid as he went by. And the Eagles again have decided to go down to the rooms at three-quarter time. We'll get the thoughts of our experts in just a moment, but West Coast at the final break lead by 30 points, 15-7, 97 to North Melbourne, 11-1, 67. Goodness me, stick around. Anything could still happen in this final term. On ABC Local Radio, on Sport Digital and on ABC Listen, this is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
You meet the most interesting people on Sunday morning.
Driving through this hot land full of dust and smoke, this little Tommy fella feels like a true blue Aussie bloke.
Join the rest of Australia right here on Sunday morning.
Australia all over, Sunday mornings on ABC Radio.
There's no doubt that country music is bigger than ever right now. Join me, Outback Tom, as I get you around the artists that are blazing a trail. Listen to Country Club, Sunday night at 6 on ABC Country or anytime you like on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Off puts the Eagles back towards full forward. Big pack flies. Front position, the mark has been paid. That's a terrific grab. Quite rightly, a big ruffle of the head of Duff Tightler. And the number 4 draft pick from the 25 draft can go back and have a shot. 45-degree angle to the right. Will be putting boot to ball from about 25 out. Duff Tightler on the approach. Puts it through. Eagles back to within a point.
Flynn, little tap towards Graham, went without it. She's got a handball to O'Sullivan. His kick smothered by McCarthy allows the Eagles to go forward. Duff Tyler from behind, able to gather. Handball to Cripps. Cripps running in to put the Eagles in front. His third goal gives them the lead. Sherry takes it out of the ruck. Flynn, clever little toe poke to Shanahan. Dribbles towards goal. Shanahan gets his first. As the margin's out to 11 points. Cripps comes out to meet it on the wing. Handballs to Hoff. Can send it inside the forward 50 over the back. Duff Tyler couldn't mark. Shanahan overran it. Duff Tyler follows up. Handballs to Yo. Bending ball around the body. Punches the air. And so too do the Eagles fans in unison with their champion. And West Coast are storming.
Cripps taps to his own advantage, gathers the bouncing ball. Pressure arrived from Simpkin. Great kick inside forward 50. And diving out to take the mark is Shanahan. 47 from goal, right up against the boundary, right forward pocket. Here is Shanahan from hard up against the boundary. It looks like a great kick. It is! What a terrific goal. Shanahan's got his second. If he was any further towards the fence, he would have been over it in the front row.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
The Eagles' last win was 308 days ago. We speak going back to May 18 last year. Round 10, they rolled St Kilda. They've lost their past 14 games. They lead with a quarter to play against North Melbourne at home by 30 points. And most remarkable of that, it has been now a 60-point turnaround after North led by 30 points in the opening minutes of the second term. The goal kickers are like this. Jamie Cripps has got 3, Shanahan with 2, Archer Reid with 2, Duff Tightler with 2, Elliot Yeo with 2, and singles to Willem Dersma Matt Flynn and Milan Murdoch. Well, for North Melbourne, 4 to Larkey, 2 to Zerha, 2 to Curtis, and singles to Powell, O'Sullivan and Doverston. What a game we've seen from West Coast. What did you make of it all? We speak to our experts, Jared Schofield and Chris Waterman on ABC Sport.
Well, it's just evened out on the stat sheet. I mean, it's 272, 270 disposals. The thing that you notice here, Scoey's, the hit-outs are 42 to 24, but the clearances are 37-30. That's where they've just worked. And we were just talking off Broadway. You look at West Coast possessions, you've got Reid, Robinson, Graham, and then the fourth one's Kelly. I always thought that if Kelly had support in the midfield, which he's now got with Murdoch coming through on the lights, Tim Kelly just becomes a different player, and he comes in from half forward. So now there's 5 or 6 that goes through the middle, and we both spoke before the game, where should we be playing Elliot at this stage of his career, and we both said half back, and here he is slotting goals, playing a little bit of midfield, half forward. So there's just more support around the midfield.
I think all those players you just said then, they're actually bulls inside. They're actually contest players. When you ask Tim Kelly, as good as he can be inside the contest, to do it week in, week out, it wears thin on the bigger body, obviously on the smaller body against the bigger bodies. You chuck in Yo there as well. But as I said to you off air, the contest all game has been in favour of West Coast. They're plus 26 on ground ball, and they're plus, I think it's 17 on contested possession. And that's not only on the ground, that's in the air as well. And they were able to generate, again, speed through the contest in that third quarter. It was a bit of a stalemate there for a period. But if West Coast can continue on dominating the contest, winning their fair share of clearances, hopefully it's going to be a positive outcome for the West Coast team and supporters.
Well, they also were getting stitched up with uncontested possessions because North had the ball, but they've just about caught up with them and probably will by the end of this game.
Yeah, North 10 uncontested possessions, more the Eagles leading the contested possessions. In terms of individuals, Harry Sheasel 34, Davies Uniacke 27 for the Eagles, Harley Reid 22, Robertson and Graham 18 apiece. Let's see what reaction Charlie Comben gets in this last quarter.
Two sides who don't win a lot in recent times. West Coast 11 wins in their past 4 and a bit seasons. Can they hang on against North? From the restart, North through Sheasel look to take it away. He's wrapped up. Strong tackle. Jerry winning the centre bounce for North. Will go in again here. Sherry against Flynn. Gathered it. Sherry tried to get a hand pass out. It comes to Daniel. Now bursting away here through the middle. Came to Davies Uniacke. Hand pass went behind Stevens. Shares it with Sheasel. Back to Stevens. Now to McKercher. Great pressure came from Murdoch. Forces the turnover. It went to Yo. Cripps through the middle. Heads long towards goal. It bounces left. Only had eyes for the big sticks from about 60 out. Round about a couple of steps to the left of centre half forward. Minor score to start proceedings. West Coast lead has gone out to 31 points.
McDonald's kick in finds Comben to a chorus of boos after that incident at the end of the quarter. Kick up the wing to Curtis. Has space, can play on. Kicks inside the forward 50. Big fist from Jinby. Ground level Doverston trying to win it for North. Kelly knocks it away from him. Now Doverston on top. Good little handball. Finds O'Sullivan. Tackled by Baker. Took a couple of steps. The umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. It'll be a ball up just outside the attacking 50 for North Melbourne. Sherry in front. Taps it towards Sheasel. Knocked away from him, though, by Harley Reid. Ball flicked out towards Kelly by Baker. The Eagles up towards the wing. Shanahan couldn't mark. Waterman up to meet. It was slow. Was tackled under pressure and threw the ball to Harley Reid, and that'll probably be 50 because the umpire blew the whistle for a free kick to McDonald, and Harley Reid had it for a long time before he kicked it. The umpire's going to march Waterman on the mark inside forward 50, where McDonald can have a shot at goal. Not sure what Harley Reid was doing on that occasion. The boos come out, but it was a good 3 or 4 seconds after the whistle was blown for the free kick, so we're not going to get away with that one. So the former captain, Luke McDonald, hasn't kicked a goal since 2023. He's only kicked 18 for his career. Comes in. McDonald's kick starts right. It's straightening. It's good. He's pumped. A rare goal for Luke McDonald. And that's what North Melbourne needed to start this final term. 12-1-73. Lead cut to 25 points. The Eagles are 15-8-98. Travelled just under 3 minutes in the final term. Jared Schofield, Chris Waterman. Just one of those ones. It was late and Harley was going to get pinned and he didn't mean to do it, but it happened.
It does. And it's going to be a real testing time now for West Coast because you don't want to go into your shell and try and control this game, but you've got to be prepared for North Melbourne to run and gun and try and show caution to the wind. So it's a real double-edged sword for a young team right now to make sure they stay right in it.
Margin becomes 25 points now for North. Opening 3 and a bit minutes. How do the Eagles respond? Sherry won it down. North will get the clearance. Sheasel kicks around his body towards centre half forward. Baker went to ground. Dersma gathered. Scooped up here by Willem Dersma. Well done. And then a big hit. Sherry just crunched Kelly. Ball jarred out. Baker was there. He's tackled. Ball up. Centre half forward though for North Melbourne. You would know if you were tackled by Sherry. Goes up against Flynn. They lock arms. Both rucks have a tap and then a second go at it. Harley Reid goes through. Had his arm pinned. Taken to ground by Daniel. That'll be holding the ball. There's a murmur of more than just discontent around Perth Stadium, but it was absolutely there. Caleb Daniel, 52 out from goal, puts it into the right forward pocket, and he's been able to hit Larkey on the chest. And Nick Larkey, the new captain for 2026. This would be a captain's goal, already with 4 today. But it's a tight angle from the right forward pocket, putting Boots a ball from about 35 out. Five times the leading goal kicker for North Melbourne. Former All-Australian. 27-year-old. In comes the skipper, Nick Larkey. He has pushed it across the face when they needed a goal. A minor score. 24 points now the margin. 12-2 North Melbourne. 74, 15-8, 98 West Coast.
Duggan runs his full measure. Terrible kick out from full back. It goes over the top of everyone. Pink can gather for North. Gives it back to Parker, who kicks into the middle of the ground to McKercher. Had a big say the last time they beat the Eagles. His kick goes inside forward 50. Jinby punches. Allen there for West Coast. Tackled by a couple of roos. And the ball is locked in. It'll be balled up. Colby McKercher, 35 touches, and they got the win at Hands Oval in Bunbury last year. Trying to have an impact in this last quarter. Ball tossed up. Sherry taps it to Davies Uniacke. Lost his feet after shaking one tackle. That'll be holding the ball. They got round one and slipped, and you're in all sorts of trouble when that happens. Free kick will go to Brady Hoff. 20 out from his own goal. Decides to play on. Kick out the southern side. Flynn in front and couldn't reel it in. Ball goes off hands, out of bounds. They'll reset and have a ball in on that far side of the ground. The attendance, the first Eagles home game of this season, 47,083 people.
Ball put back into play. Sherry front position, came off the forearm, spilled down to Powell, to Sheasel, another disposal, back to Sherry, hands it off to McKercher. Out of Powell, hurried kick around the bodies, hit Curtis on the chest. 55 from goal, left half forward, goes searching for Larkey again. That's a wonderful kick, leading out Larkey towards the right forward pocket again, and he marks. Pretty much the same spot he was a few moments ago when he missed. North's goal kicking, bar one to Curtis and one to Larkey has been exceptional. 12 goals, 2 at the moment. How does the captain go now? Larkey is in and he steers it through, punches the air and goes to celebrate with his teammates. That is his 5th. And that is a captain's goal, and it brings the margin back to 18 points. West Coast 15-8-98 to North Melbourne 13-2-80. 7.5 gone in the final term. As we heard before, the past 8 games between these clubs decided by 15 points or less. We could be having another thriller. Jared Schofield and Chris Waterman.
Yeah, this is the type of game now. You have to be right on your man. And Duggo was just a metre off just watching the game then. I thought, you just got to stand. He's a left-footer, Duggo. You're a left-footer. Curtis is a left-footer. Should have stood right next to him on his left foot and just hemmed him in. But it's a fantastic kick to Larky in the end. And this game's alive and back on all of a sudden.
Voted in as the captain for a reason. He's trying to lead them to victory today. From the middle, though, Yo gets the torpedo clearance for the Eagles. Goes over the head. Waterman can go back, can gather, can kick on goal and roll it through. And it's a free kick. It won't count. It's coming back to the original contest. And it's going for a hold. Waterman's pleading his case. It's going to Pink, who can play on quickly. The Eagles fans don't like it. McKercher will clear defensive 50 up to the wing where Curtis can mark, can roll quickly. Goes towards Darling or Simpkin. Darling leaves it for the former skipper. Simpkin goes to Powell. End to end. Sherry floats forward. Can't mark. Flynn does the roving for West Coast. Handball to Baker. Tumbles the ball outside defensive 50. Blamires gathers. Handballs to Davies-Uniacke. Can't bend it back with a drop punt. It's a minus score. The Eagles fans still booing. Margin back to 17 points in favour of the Eagles. I haven't seen a replay yet.
Thoughts on it? I've seen it.
I didn't think there was much in it.
No, I didn't think there was much in it either.
Very little in that at all. Two players just making sure they were trying to get best position. North might have dodged a bullet with that. It would have put the Eagles out to a 24-point lead. Balls across right half forward here for North Melbourne. Davies-Uniacke does well, delivers to Doverston, marks right on the 50. Step left, thought about giving it to McKercher. Instead, will send it long towards the goal square. Larky! Big mark at the back. He was behind two Eagles, and he has it at left full forward.
Well, West Coast have gone in with a +1. Joe Shanahan behind the ball now. They're trying to obviously control this game because North Melbourne have got massive amount of momentum. They've just got to get up on the game, the West Coast backs.
Larky with his sixth, curls it through, easy as you like. And it's an 11-point ball game. And the Eagles fans still are furious. They know that if Waterman's goal had stood, they would lead by 24. Instead, it was ruled out, the holding decision from him on Pink. And now North have gone up the other end and scored. 11 points the difference to the Eagles. They're in front. 15-8-98 to North. 14-3-87. There is still only 11 minutes gone in this final term.
Great mark by Larky anyway. You had two young Joe Shanahan there, and he just moved him out of the way, and Reuben couldn't quite get there as the third man up.
Larky's first bag of 6 since 2023. Now the captain, now the leader. 2 in a row out of the middle. North Melbourne again. Davies-Uniacke. Handball to Simpkin. Tackled by Kelly. Had a long time. Umpire agreed. Free kick West Coast. Kelly wants 50. Simpkin just dropped the ball on the ground. He gave it back to him eventually. Now Kelly can kick the Eagles forward. Looking for Waterman. Big fist by Comben. Out in front, though, only of Robertson. Shakes away from the tackler. Handballs to Allen. The Eagles going back outside, attacking 50. Now McCarthy tries to go straight. Kick into the pocket. Waterman in front, can't mark. Cripps, Rose, tackled, dispossessed. Archer Reid puts his head over it. He's tackled. The Eagles just couldn't break free, and Jamie Cripps might have hurt the shoulder in there in that whole passage of play. And instead, the ball's going to be tossed up in the air. 10 metres out from the Eagles' goal. Tied in the right forward pocket. Tapped into the path of Harley Reid. Spilt it. Allowed Jamie Cripps to grab it. Off to Robertson. Snaps towards the top of the square. Duff Tytler can't mark. Now Waterman becomes tackler. They play stacks on. But he balled up 25 metres out from the Eagles' attacking goal.
Ball put aloft. One down by the Eagles. Came to Newton. Had it stolen away. Comben did well. Thumps the kick into the middle of the ground, but it sat there for Hoff. Hoff steps around an opponent, puts it back towards full forward, marked by Parker. Huge amount of experience. Put himself in the right spot from a premiership player with the Swans. And a short pass to Sheasel. This to be disposed with 38. Trots into the left back pocket, but turns it over with a kick. Marked by McCarthy for West Coast. On the southern wing. McCarthy just pauses. He can go short and will do so to the co-captain in Duggan. Not far enough to be a mark. Has to hurry a kick inside forward 50. Waterman got in front of McDonald. Takes the mark. Diving forward to complete it. He can go back, pick up the footy and have a shot in line with the right hand behind post, and he'll kick from about 45 out. In the meantime, Cripps, as Mitch told you, looked like he'd hurt his right shoulder in the previous contest, is coming off the ground. West Coast's lead right now is 11 points. Jake Waterman would think he's had a goal taken off him. Boots go past the 50. Kicks on its way. He raises both hands to celebrate with his teammates and the Perth Stadium crowd. The Eagles' lead is back to 17 points. 16-8, 104. North Melbourne 14-3, 87. 14 gone in the final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen. Our experts, Chris Waterman and Jared Schofield.
Well, they can't put the cue on the racks, Scully. There's 11 minutes of footy to go here, so they've just got to keep scoring. They can't tighten up. Keep going forward and keep getting in there. That was just repeat entries there. It was 3, 4, 5. Eventually they got one through, which is what they need to do. But they've got to keep scoring. They can't just defend.
Two young sides. They always play good games. The Eagles just stretching that margin back out. Tap down in the middle to Simpkin. Tackled by Graham. Somehow got a handball to O'Sullivan, who tried to get it to Sherry. Instead, the Eagles have stolen it. Duff Tyler checks the kick out towards right half forward. Powell gets there first. Has time to spin around on his left boot. Kicks it up the wing. Fist in there from Davies Uniacke. Zerha over the top. Tunnel border back to Sherry. Gathered it off the ground. Clever little kick out towards Simpkin. Handball forward to Dovison. To 50. Handball back to Daniel. North Melbourne searching forward and finding Cam Zerha, who ran from that contest on the wing, kept working forward towards goal and has taken the mark directly in front, 35 metres out.
That last bit of contest play there, West Coast had probably a couple extra numbers in on the football. North Melbourne had a bit of the outside balance and they won it.
Cameron Zerha, he's a West Aussie playing for North Melbourne, and he's still getting cheered by the WA fans because he misses. 14-4, 88 North Melbourne, 16-8, 104 the West Coast Eagles. 16 minutes played, Sunday footy on ABC Sport, final term.
16 points, as you heard. The Eagles will bring it towards left half back. That's a great grab. Willem Dersma flying up from the side into a pack of 6 and bringing down the Sharon. Showing in so many ways why he was the top pick last year. Kicks back towards left half forward, and this time Sherry big enough, out marking Archer Reid and Elliot Yeo. Dangerous kick across half back. Allen puts pressure on Comben. Comben was able to get it back to McKercher. Breaks the stretching arm. Get away from the tackle of Waterman. Goes to Daniel. Now to Pink. Back to Daniel. Daniel on a bit of a run from left half back. Kicks North Melbourne over the wing. Trying to mark Larkey off his hands. Sat there. Getting a hand pass out of trouble was Young for West Coast. It's coming back though. The Eagles will get the free kick here. And Young will have it at right half back. He'll send it all the way to Shanahan on his own in his defensive 50, and then he'll switch play towards left half back to Hoff, who marks.
Eagles fans calling for him to go, and now it does. Kicks up the wing to Baker, who can go short to Dersma. Baker a little bit cramp as he takes a breather. So impressive today, this number 1 draft pick. Kicks inboard to centre wing where McCarthy can mark. Mid-season recruit last year for West Coast. Has Harley Reid short. Chips it to him by foot. Now further afield along the boundary line to Davis. Broadcast side of the ground. Nothing ahead of him, so goes back to the wing. McCarthy marks almost every player in front of him. Now decides to take off and bomb it long. McCarthy sends it inside 50. Big pack flies. No one marks. Willem Dersma couldn't grab it. Myers. Handball out looking for Stevens. Stolen by Harley Reid. Left foot kick towards the top of the goal square. Waterman can't mark. It spills for Bo Allen. Oh, just couldn't quite sit for him. Now on hands and knees, Newton for the Eagles. Players crashing in. Players on top. Umpire circling. It comes out to Waterman, who snaps on goal and hits the post. Well, the umpire was about to pay holding the ball, I reckon, and it snuck out to Waterman. It's a minor score. 16-9-105, 14-4, 88, 17-point margin, and Cash followed up.
It's been a hot day and there are players cramping everywhere. Archer Reid's cramping. Tim Kelly's gone off with cramp for West Coast. There's plenty of players struggling now.
Kick from the Eagles beyond defensive 50 towards right half back, and there's a grab being paid here. It'll come back to McCarthy. Parker with the kick beyond defensive 50 for North Melbourne. McCarthy sends it towards full forward for the Eagles. Sherry Flew got a fist on the footy, went out to Murdoch, tries to gather, looked like a little throw, flicked it back inboard. Umpire said it was okay. The snap on goal from Davis has hit the left hand behind post, so out of bounds on the full. And McDonald will play on quickly for North and move it across the face of goal to be marked by Parker. McDonald continued his run, gathered in the left back pocket, kicks towards left half back. Jinby up against Pink. Jimmy got a fist on it, spilled down to Robertson. Puts the Eagles back inside their attacking 50. Elliot Yeo stayed down. Archer Reid got it. Well tackled. Ball jarred out. Umpire says play on. North with it through hands. Parker involved. Then trying to work it out was O'Sullivan. Getting back there, Graham. Got it for the Eagles. And then to Bo Allen. Kick back inside forward 50. Comben, great mark. Defensively at left fullback for North.
Comben handballs across to Myers. It takes a little run. Now kicks beyond defensive 50. Bo Allen over the top. Couldn't mark for West Coast. Robertson desperate though. Got a handball to Graham. He's caught by Sheasel. Got it back to Robertson. His handball misses the target. North Melbourne just trying to will it forward. Caleb Daniel. Handballs taken by Graham. He's got his pants around his bottom. And he's still got it free. Now the Eagles go forward again. Milan Murdoch front of the pack. Taps it to his advantage. Brilliant smother by Parker. Allows North Melbourne to win it back. Sheasel can go up the southern wing. Oh, Davison dropped an uncontested mark. He's got a couple of Eagles to deal with as well. Somehow got it out to Simpkin, who wheels around. His kick will only find Tyler Young of the Eagles, though, who can chip short. And Harley Reid takes the mark and says, just hold up a second. Now kicks to Yeo, centre half forward.
308 days since the Eagles fans have celebrated a win. Harley Reid tells everyone, including his teammates, just to be cool. Yeo drives it into the right forward pocket. Comben out, spoiled, spilled back, and Murdoch gets his second. In a pulsating game of footy, that almost might be enough. The Eagles lead us 23 points at the 22-minute mark of the final term. And it's Milan Murdoch who kicks the goal from the right forward pocket. 17-9, 111 West Coast. 14-4, 88 North Melbourne. 21 and a bit gone in the final term on ABC Sport.
Again, it was just persistence, and they just kept going in. And more times you go to the well, and they got one. So it's out to 4 goals. You would think that the way this game's been played, Sco, it's been a frenetic pace. There is players out on their feet. You never give in, but I think North just haven't got the firepower at the moment.
They haven't had a lot to cheer about in the last 4 years, the West Coast fans, but they're up and about now. North Melbourne, though, win the clearance. Simpkin, tumbling ball inside forward 50. Zerha and Duggan. Duggan taps it back, only as far as Curtis. Handball to Daniel, quick to kick towards the top of the goal square. Punched away by Young. It'll stay in bounds. Duggan can gather in the left back pocket, the co-captain for the Eagles. Kicks up the wing. Lemires at the back couldn't take the mark. Now tackled by Murdoch. Taken to ground. Ball spills out North Melbourne's way. Simpkin, quick fire handball to O'Sullivan. Kick inside the forward 50. Big mark taken by the youngster. Shanahan read it well. Took the mark and now kicks it towards Baker. It's spoiled though. Constanti got there, knocked it away towards Powell. Back to Constanti, left forward pocket. North Melbourne need one. They get one. It's not quite over just yet. North Melbourne respond 15-4, 94. The Eagles 17-9, 111. Margin back to 17 points. 23 minutes gone, final term. Jared Schofield, Chris Waterman. Felt like they were a minute away of just completely soaking it up.
Well, you could see Joe Shanahan trying to find composure. Just had too much flight on the ball. Gave the North Melbourne forward an opportunity to get across and impact. But back to your point before about the front half territory, Muddy, about going inside our forward 50. When they find that composure and able to hold onto the ball and maintain possession, it makes North Melbourne defend longer, especially in this tight game.
Jacob Constanti's first goal of the season keeps North Melbourne in this contest. 3 goals unanswered would see them hit the fronts. We've gone 23 minutes and they get the clearance out of the middle as well. Bounces inside forward 50. Duggan read it well. Got it and spent away from Zurha. Kicks towards the logo commentary wing. Cripps is back on the ground. Sweeps it forward to Flynn. Can't take it cleanly. Followed it up. Tried to tap it to Cripps. Stealing it away though. Trembath got it to Simpkin for the Kangaroos. The kick was meant for Curtis. Couldn't mark. Going to ground, Zurha. Curtis continues on his merry way. Sockers it forward. Coming the other way, Baker. The co-captain bounces a kick. McCarthy couldn't take it first time. Gathered it the second. Stepped around Pink. Kicks the Eagles short to Harley Reid, who marks. And says to everyone, let's just take a moment. What a game of footy between these two clubs who've been down the bottom of the ladder for so long. But it's been a thrilling game as Harley Reid goes short. And he's able to find a teammate again in Davis. Davis kicks towards the commentary wing. Waterman attacked the footy. Comben right behind him. Off his fingertips. Flynn gathers short hand pass to Archer Reid, who with Nurkic right with him is taken over the boundary line for a throw-in. Left half forward. Akash Fotodar with us on ABC Sport. Akash.
Yeah, Liam Baker's limped off the field again. I'm not sure if the reoccurrence of that cramp or something more serious, but he looked in a lot of pain.
Zurha crashed into his legs as he got that kick away a moment ago.
Well, that looked ugly. We'll see how he goes from the restart. Yo through traffic. Handball a little hot for Kelly. Stolen by Daniel. Here go North Melbourne. Blamires to Parker. Kick towards Larkey. He draws a crowd. There's 2 Eagles there. Shanahan gathers, and this time nice little composed kick to Brady Hoff and gets a cheer from the crowd, who goes inboard to Willem Dersma. Could be just minutes away from his first AFL win. Short now to McCarthy. Also hunting that. Goes for a little run. Sends it up the southern side. Can the Eagles get a mark? No. Flynn has it punched away by Sherry. Out of bounds. A whole host of Eagles looking for their first win. They only won 1 last year. So he came over the off-season just gone, or last year. You had 1 crack at it.
It's going to be a small circle, isn't it? Because more guys will be in the middle than they will be on the outside.
Maybe you have guys in the middle throwing it at the guys on the outside. You turn it around. Ball tossed back in. Sheasel read it well off the hands. Kicks towards half forward. Bit of a push on Young. Allows Darling to get out the back. No, it's coming back. Jimmy was cluttered into by Larkey. I think the thing was, it looked like Young was pushed into the contest. There wasn't a lot in it, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure there was a lot in that at all.
It's a free kick to the Eagles. Jimmy's pretty sore after that one. He's got a bit of cramp in the right leg too, but it'll be his... Tyler Young's free kick for the push in the back against Darling. And he has it at right half back and goes to the long high switch, but a good one to McCarthy just beyond left half back. The Eagles lead by 17 points, 27 gone in the last.
McCarthy plays on with a kick that finds Waterman. hits him on the chest. He marks in front of the Eagles interchange gates. Short pass was perfect to Reid. The Eagles know that possession football now, they can slow it right down. Their lead is 17 points. 27 and a bit gone. The kick is deep inside forward 50. North can't play that game as Sherry marks over the top of Flynn. They have to get this moving. Sherry, the big ruck, sent it straight into the middle of the ground. Darling front position, couldn't mark. Split out in the direction again of Reid. Got it to Willem Dersma. Hand pass comes towards Ginby. Picks it up on the logo. Gets it again to Duggan. Kicks towards left half forward. Sliding out Flynn. Ball bounced in front of him. Tap cleverly by Myers into the path of O'Sullivan. Then to Parker. North can be away here. It comes to Darling. Kicks into the right forward pocket. The ball will bounce over inside attacking 50 for a throw-in. About 40 out from North's attacking goal. The Kangaroos are running out of time. They trail by 17 points. Ball to be put back into play in their right forward pocket. City end of Perth Stadium.
Ball spun back in. Sherry once again to the front. Tap was too hot for O'Sullivan. Flynn off the deck, clears it out towards the wing. Harley Reid gathers. Doesn't have a lot on. Steps back inside, kicks it high, and was taken high as he kicked. It's been a warrior today, Harley Reid. He has fought hard all day for this football club. 29 disposals now. Goes short to Graham. Steps around Simpkin, ran into trouble. Handball up the wing, and he was pushed as he got rid of it by Simpkin. Approaching the 30-minute mark of the final term, the Eagles chant once again picks up as Graham goes short to Willem Dersma. He's had some sort of day as well. Dersma will retreat back towards Yeo as the Eagles will run the seconds down at the end of this game.
The wins have been few and far between, but the Eagles fans know what's coming to them. Yeo thumps it long towards the commentary wing. Sherry punches it down. It sits there for Ginby. Hands it off to Graham. By hand to Kelly. Kelly looks to go short. Taken by Flynn. Back to Harley Reid. He'll send it deep into the left forward pocket. After 308 days and 14 consecutive losses, Andrew McQualter has his second win as Eagles coach. West Coast with a win in round 2. They've beaten North Melbourne. A big win in every context for a young Eagles side. They're flying high in Perth right now. The Eagles victorious. And they're home over North by 17 points. 17-9-111 to 15-4-94.
West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high. We're the Eagles, West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high.
just the 12th time that song has run out in the past 4 and a bit seasons. The Eagles, they go 1-1 in 2026, as do North Melbourne, in what was a terrific contest to watch. West Coast, they trailed by 24 points at quarter time, by 30 points in the opening minute of the second quarter, and then slowly ground their way back into the game. North by 7 points at half-time, the Eagles by 30 points at three-quarter time, and the Eagles in the end winning by 17. The goal kickers, 3 to Jamie Cripps, 2 to Elliot Yeo, 2 to Duff Tytler, 2 to Archer Reid, 2 to Job Shanahan, 2 to Milan Murdoch, and singles to Willem Dersma, Jake Waterman and Matt Flynn. While for North Melbourne, Nick Larkey kicked 5 goals. Zerha with 2, Curtis with 2, Doveston, O'Sullivan, McDonald, Powell and Constanti the others. The Eagles, they finish round 2, the last game of the round, with a win that will give them so much hope, and their supporters, for the youngsters that they brought into the club and what that might mean for the future of those in blue and gold. Give us your thoughts. Chris Waterman, Jared Schofield, our experts on Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, we all said before the game we weren't sure, and we absolutely got a mixed bag in that game. So to see what North did at the start, to see how West Coast fought their way back and then continued it on to the point where they were 5 goals back, and then North showed a little bit of fight. It was a really good game of footy in the end. And as we said before, there's a lot of young talent out there, Scully, and we saw glimpses of what the future holds for West Coast and a bit of North as well. I thought North lost their way. They just stopped getting the ball and allowed West Coast West Coast just grunted their way into the game and grunted their goals forward. So they had a good spread through the midfield. We said Reid, Dobbs, Robertson, Graham, Kelly, Baker and those guys. Yowie went through there. Davis good on a wing. Where Sheasel and Davies Uniacke were sort of the 2 in there that were doing most of the work. The rest was coming from behind with Daniel and the like. So in the end, they just dominated the inside 50s and got an extra 11, and they kept pumping it in until they outscored them.
Well, I think it's been a while since, you talk about inside 50, it's been a while since West Coast would have had 59.
59, yeah. That's a lot.
A long, long time ago. But
20 more than last week.
Yeah, and the thing is, they took territory from contests early on. They were trying to run and gun. That wasn't working for them. They were getting tipped over a little bit with the pressure of North Melbourne, and then they started to surge the ball forward. They had a couple of high forwards playing up at stoppage. They had an isolated forward line. They were winning contests forward of the ball, and then they got the momentum back on their terms after the first quarter, where North Melbourne obviously came out of the blocks. But looking at it, first time looking at the guys live from being involved with them last year, the maturity they showed. And I was thinking back to their performance last week. They would have learned from last week what's required in the contest against the top sides. And as I said, they're like a North Melbourne team. They're on the rebuild, and their learnings that they would have taken from last week would have been instrumental into how they performed through this game. But what I could say is what I saw with their maturity, with how they handled the pressure in those key moments within the game, whether they controlled the ball, they went into a bit of control, they had a +1. For myself, seeing that, it's really exciting to see as a West Coast supporter myself. As you said, the young talent that's come in, but the young talent that was there last year mature and grow, and then the leadership of the senior players to be looking as sharp as they were, like Graham and Kelly and Yo back out there. It is exciting, but it's the first win of their season, and it's a fantastic way to start their obviously home season.
The other thing is, Scully, and you'll be able to attest to this having been there, a team, and I know it's North and they're young too and they've both been down the bottom, but even a win and the way they performed today, this is probably the first, and the seconds team played in the Waffle today. It was only a scratch match. This will be the first time in a while there's a little bit of pressure for spots, and you're able to pick guys really on form, whereas before you were handballing games because there was no one else on the list and there was injuries, and Marriage has missed out today and everyone was up in arms with young Lindsay missing out. So there's a bit of, you were guys were getting games when they weren't ready or shouldn't have been played because that's all you had. Now, this is the first time where guys have to actually put their hand up and fight for a spot in this team.
I just say it's also, in the last few years, it's the rare Schofield trifecta. Port Adelaide, Fremantle, West Coast have all won this round. It is the Jared Schofield trifecta.
Hey, mate, chuck in Subiaco there too now.
Subiaco had a pre-season game. And
we won the pre-season game.
Wow, 4 from 4.
Yeah, we'll take that. But no, look, it is. And that's what environments should be like. They should be healthy like that, where there's competition for spots. And as you said, like guys like Clay Hall, he really came on last year. Is obviously still made his way in the season.
I left quite a few names out. I just threw the two up that missed out, but there's good players out of this team.
Well, like Elijah Hewitt fits into the mould of the grunt work like a Robinson that's come in.
There's 4.
Yeah,
Starcevic still got to come.
Starcevic 5. So 6, 7, and 8 easy. All of a sudden, they're picking a stronger team.
The one thing that really sort of caught my eye today was their brutality in the contest. I thought that was strong for literally long periods in this game. Wasn't through just winning the ball, but also I thought their pressure, the way they physically tackled North Melbourne, stuck their tackles, and that's just once again sign of their maturity.
And on top of that, you said it before, what they would have learnt in that second half last week, that takes a hell of a lot out of you playing up in that tropical weather. It really does, and they fought their way through it, so they would have got confidence out of that.
And then the thing, I'm sorry, I was just saying, the thing is they say about people cramping, they're not unfit. You talk about Gold Coast coming down and playing this game, it's brutal.
They're not unfit. It was a hot day. They were made to do plenty of work, both clubs down there. Let's head down into the Eagles' rooms. Akash Fotodars with us. Akash.
As you can expect, it's pretty noisy down here, pretty jovial scenes. Lots of family and friends packed in. Andrew McCoulter before came over, a big hug and a kiss for his wife and kids as well. The whole West Coast squad and staff were basically assembled in the rooms, and a big cheer as the team came in. They're all just grabbing the sports drinks before they circle up for the song. And as you guys mentioned on air, there's probably going to be quite a few players in the middle of this circle, and I expect this song to be sung with some gusto. It's been a long time between drinks for a lot of these players, and a first-time win for many others. So they're all just circling up now. A lot of high fives and back slapping with the teammates who missed out today.
Cash, can you just do a head count on how many are in the middle?
I will try my best. I'm having a look now.
Is the circle bigger in the middle or on the outside?
I've got, at the moment, we've got Milan Murdoch coming in the middle. Just trying to think of who else we're. No, they just go in the full normal circle, and here they go. I think logistically it might have been too hard to get the amount of people required in the middle of the circle, so a standard circle for the song there, Muddy. But as you can hear, they were pretty happy, and we should have an Eagles player join us very soon.
Very sensible decision from the West Coast Eagles there. They were trying to get who hadn't won a game in the middle, and suddenly realised that they probably didn't have a big enough group to be on the outside of them for the Powerade shower. But nonetheless, well done to West Coast. And North, although they'll be annoyed that they didn't win today and go 2-1, and they would be exceptionally annoyed with the fact that they did lead by 30 points early in that second term. There's still enough to like about them as a developing football club as well, if you're a North Melbourne fan. Next up for the Kangaroos, they have Essendon at the Docklands. That is their next game for North. That's next week, so no bye to worry about for North. While the West Coast Eagles, they'll head across to Adelaide to take on Port Adelaide, who had a big win today, the earlier game on Sunday, by 63 points over the Bombers. So the two sides here today get to play the two sides who are the earlier game on Sunday. Injury-wise, the news, of course, an issue perhaps with Cripps with the right shoulder, but the bigger concern will be for Harry Edwards for West Coast. Had to come off with what we believe to be concussion. And, of course, Griffin Logue with a thigh injury for North Melbourne. That also happened in the first term. We're going to get the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. We'll have those for you very shortly. And, of course, in the Christian medal, a 3-2-1 for both West Coast and North, and then a 3-2-1 just for our WA medal over here in the West. And also we'll run through all the numbers for you with Mitch Turner as well. If you'd like to send us a text, 0437 774 774. If you'd like to get in touch with us here with you for another 18 minutes, we'll bring you what we can from downstairs in the Eagles' rooms. Muddy, just before we move on from West Coast, you mentioned a couple of the kids who were great, but also the efforts. Like Baker coming back today, thought he added a bit of grunts. Just a genuine bit of like a hard nut, an experienced professional player out there for West Coast. And I know there's some criticism of West Coast, but every time I see him put himself about like he did today, I understand why they had to make that decision to bring in someone with his experience into this football club.
Yeah, well, you just go through that top sort of 6 or 7, Baker, Yeo, Duggan, Kelly, Graham, Robinson, Reid. I mean, Harley's only in his 3rd year, but he's an exceptional player. But that top 8 getting their hands on the footy. Hamish Davis ran out of puff in the end, but he had a scintillating second quarter of footy. Would have been his best quarter of footy at AFL level. And just underneath, Milan Murdoch's not a kid. He's 24 or 25 now and played nearly 100 games of footy. Jimby just holding his head up. I mean, Larky's kicked 6, which sort of saddens the day a little bit for those defenders. But he was so good, Ruben, just attacking the ball and hitting. And I don't think all 6 were kicked on him, Scully. I'm not sure. I think Young might have had to wear a few of those too. I'm not sure who Jimmy was on. We sure, Dersma's 15, but you felt like he had 30. Duff Tyler, a couple of goals. Young Archer Reid's. Those 3 guys, well, particularly Duff Tyler and Reid, they don't have to do too much to impact the game because they've got a more even spread around. Bo Allen's growing from week to week now. He's just becoming that 6'3" runner that, he was on the wing and went to half back when Harry Edwards came off, so he plugged up a hole.
Yeah, well, did you talk about Duff Tyler and Archer Reid? They're clean at ground level too.
Yeah.
As tall 200-centimetre players, they're clean at ground level. But one person that came into the game that last quarter was McCarthy. He had 9 possessions, I think, and really controlled the game behind the ball. Was able to sort of bring others into the game as well, and that's what you got to try and do is just keep continuing to grow, the game where you can get the ball into the right people's hands at the right time. And if they do that, well, then obviously they're going to be more effective with their entries going inside forward 50 as they move forward as well.
And Job Shanahan went behind the ball again. They backed him in. He made 2 mistakes where he tried to do the right thing at different times and switched the ball and he just didn't get it right, but they backed him in and then he still stood up right at the end where he did play a role, intercepted, being comfortable. So that's good for his confidence.
Oh, definitely. And the thing about Job, he's a beautiful kick. He is a beautiful exponent of the foot. And so just a couple of skill areas, but he's a real calm head. He looks laconic the way he goes about things, but he's actually really calm between the ears. So when the pressure's on, he's not panicking. He'll still go for his kicks, and he took a couple of good marks. And to trust in a guy that's in his 2nd year to go behind the ball as a +1 and really control things is a sign of what they think of him.
And even Duggo just back there, and Duggo can blow the ball as good as anyone for a left footer. And some of his kicks come off the boot, and he looks nice, but it goes sideways. But just he doesn't die wondering, Duggo. He'll hit the pack, and he'll 14 to 15 touches, but he puts his body on the line. It just helps stem the flow at times. I mean, they're only a young team, but just that old head and bigger body.
What about? We've spoken a little bit, but North Melbourne, they came out and kicked 7 goals to 3 in the first quarter. They won last week. North fans are up and about thinking maybe they're finally taking the next step. Alistair Clark's been pretty disappointed with what they did, certainly after half-time, where, apart from that last quarter where it was always an uphill battle, they just let Eagles have their way with it for a long time in that game. That's pretty disappointing for North, given they are supposed to be taking the step the Eagles are hoping to take.
Well, I think with North Melbourne, they've built so much of their game around their midfield. The likes of Cherry, Sheasel, LDU, chuck in Simpkin there, when they're not controlling the game, and I thought West Coast matched them in that area, that's when I think they can sort of find their way, or they can't find their way through that offensive move off contest or off stoppage. And I think West Coast did well there. So Lucky wasn't able to get the supply that he was getting in the first quarter. Yes, he kicked 3 in the first quarter, and he kicked 3 in the last as well. But if you can match him in the midfield, I truly believe if you can match him in the midfield and win the contest or win stoppage and get field position against North Melbourne, well, then it goes a long way to obviously getting the result that you're looking for. And that's what I felt that was the difference in the end.
So is that more recruitment for North Melbourne, unfortunately, which is still a long way away, got a whole season, or is that they've got to tinker some game-style stuff to figure out how they can beat teams without winning it at the source every time?
Well, I think we saw early on with McKercher and the likes off half-back rebound. So they've got it in their game. So they can't be just relying on stoppage wins or on contests. So they just couldn't get any, I suppose, back half ball movement going, because I think the forward pressure and the way that West Coast were competing in front of the ball didn't allow them to do that. So you've got to find another way to score, another way to move the footy. So I just think West Coast played good football in the end and were able to sort of rest momentum and took away both parts of it, being able to try and score off turnover or off stoppage.
Well, McKercher ended up with 20, O'Sullivan 18 and Stevens 17. Curtis ended up with 12. I reckon nearly half of their possessions came in the first quarter, and they just went missing in the second and third quarter. And now the young blokes that they're looking for. I mean, Parker was really good at half back for most of it. They just need to find more consistency as a young team.
We'll get the votes for the ABC Football of the Year and the Christian Medal in just a moment. While you ponder that, gents, Mitch is going to have a look at some of the other numbers for you.
Yeah, good luck. That's a hard one. Very quickly, Harry Sheasel, 40 disposals, just 13 in the second half. Luke Davies-Uniacke had 32. Caleb Daniel, Interesting Sherry, 25. And then for the Eagles, Harley Reid topped with 30. Robertson, 26. Graham, 23. Kelly, 20. And I think we're heading downstairs to Akash Fodder, who's got one of the West Coast Eagles with him. Akash?
I do indeed, Mitch. I've got the co-captain, Liam Baker, with me. Liam, firstly, how does it feel to get the monkey off the back early in the season?
Oh, yeah, it was a great win. Backs against the wall after last week, but we looked past the result and looked at the positives from last week. We didn't quite start the game the way we wanted to, but we fought back. So that's the most pleasing thing, the way we just got on with the job, really, and played some good footy for long periods of time.
You did get a little bit jumped again in the first quarter. What was the messaging from the coaching staff at quarter time when you actually came down into the rooms as well at the quarter break?
Yeah, just keep relaxing. Even when we got a lot of momentum, the crowd gets involved, we get hyped up, as all teams do. It's just trying to make smart decisions when we're in that mode, which I thought we did really well.
You've got a very young group this season, and even for quite a lot of the senior players, it's been a long time between wins. What does it mean to the group, and particularly to those young guys, to get that first win?
Oh, it's the belief thing. I've been believing the whole time. Minnie rocked up. It's been a bit of a change for the footy club, and I'm sure the boys have been believing. But 1 year down the track, we've improved so much. That performance against Port in the pre-season was really disappointing, and we took a lot of learnings from that. So the belief that we had today and throughout the week, even after the result last week, I think was very pleasing.
Let's head upstairs to our team. Clint Wheeldon, Mitch Turner, Jared Schofield and Chris Waterman.
Bates is muddy. Just having yourself and Duggo and a few guys like Jack Graham, second game back. Now Devon Robinson in there. Just seems like you've got more spread of big bodies through that midfield, and it just turned up in the second half. You guys just had that experience around the ball.
Well, that's the difference between this year and last year. We lost a lot of leaders last year, some big bodies. We got some recruits in the off-season. A lot of the boys are on the park, so there's a lot of maturity there. And as you said, big bodies inside, and as well as some talented players to move the ball forward as well. So it was a good little mix today, and I thought all those players you mentioned were very good.
And down back, poor old Harry caught one early, and poor old Ruben had to go back and just stand up. He just keeps stacking up every week in, week out, Rubes, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that was a great thing. To lose a key defender early in the game, people have to step up. Rubes is the one that went on to Larky, and he does a great job, as we know. But just getting on with the job, shuffling around and keeping calm, like I mentioned earlier, that was a great step forward for us.
Bakes, it's Scully here, mate. Well done on the win. Fantastic to see all the hard work you guys have been doing behind the scenes. I was saying to the boys up here about the maturity that I thought you guys showed today. So have you been working a lot over the pre-season around that, controlling the game? Because obviously you're in that sort of +1 behind the ball for a fair period. Have you worked a lot on that over the off-season?
We have, yeah. I mean, you guys have been watching a lot of footy so far this year. Teams score heavily. And it was the same again today. North piled on, 5 goals in the first quarter, so we just need to send someone back, steady the game, and then relax a bit and then have our turn going the other way. So, maturity was the great word for it. We showed plenty of it, which is exciting from still a young group.
Yeah, and as you touched on it with Muddy before, it just seemed like the contest game was in your favour, even when things weren't going well for you early on in the piece. Just seems like the pressure around the footy, the contested ball and the ground ball was in your favour. Did you feel that out there, and was that a message from Minnie?
Pressure was brought up, a lot throughout the day, and the boys in the midfield cracked in, and if they send it down the line when we're set up like that, we'll get our turn going the other way. But last week the pressure was really good after, the first quarter and a bit, and then today it was good all day. So I can't wait to see what we can do going forward with that kind of pressure. So I'm really excited.
West Coast Eagles co-captain Liam Baker joining us from the rooms after their 17-point win over North Melbourne. Liam, it must have been pretty tough to be named co-captain and to be ready to lead this side, but then have to sit out the first week and watch the boys go to the Gold Coast and take on a big challenge. You must have been proud of the effort, but it must have been pretty tough to have to wait till today to get out there.
Yeah, it was tough watching, especially in the first quarter and a bit when you just wanted to be out there. But then the way the boys fought back, I was actually proud up there in the coach's box watching. It was good to be out there today. I was a bit nervous today, but as soon as you get out there, it's just another game. So,
have you had a chance to reflect at all? Like you're officially captaining the side now. You are the official full-time captain with Liam Duggan of a football club you've seen your entire life in front of you growing up in Western Australia. Has it sunk in that, what a big moment this is for you today?
Oh, not really, to be honest. I mean, after the first couple of days and I was a bit nervous, it's just been business as usual. But this is my first game of the year, so things have changed when we start getting into the season. But, I just try and be the person I was beforehand, and hopefully that's enough for the boys this year. But, it's exciting being a leader of this club, and then hopefully watch us grow into a really successful team in years to come. But, I can't wait to get into it this year again.
Bakes, it seemed a pretty brutal game, and you didn't play last week, but we all know that type of weather it's a lot more tropical up there, and that type of night it's difficult to play. Coming from that back into this brutal game, the boys are going to be feeling it a bit. You'd think, I know it's your first game, but there's going to be some tired boys the next few days.
Possibly, yeah, but you do recover, you get on with it, there's no excuse. So,
you're a farm boy, you just do that every week.
Yeah, no one will be sooking, mate. No one will be sooking.
Tell your full forward to kick straight, will you?
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, but when it mattered, he put it through the middle. So.
Liam Baker is with us here on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Those two young blokes that you picked up in last year's draft, Willem Dersma and Cooper Duff-Tytler. Liam, goodness me, they show a fair bit. That was terrific to see them today.
Yeah, did they kick a couple of goals each?
Dersma got one and Duff-Tytler got two.
I reckon Dersma got two.
Oh, you got two, did he? Beg your pardon. Better check my notes.
That's the exciting thing, like those senior boys you mentioned earlier. We just hold down our own and watch these boys shine over the next few years. So, we'll do our best to give those boys the best career, but they've had a great start so far. They're going to have their ups and downs, and we'll be fine.
And at the other side of things, how much better is West Coast when Elliot Yeo is fit and firing out in the middle?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a beast, like you mentioned earlier. A big body around. I haven't spent too much time with him in the midfield, but I'm assuming he's a calm head. At least having a senior player around like that, or another senior player around like that, it makes the other boys walk taller. So he's had a great start to the year after a tough 18 months for him.
We appreciate you chatting to us. Go and enjoy the win. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for the chat.
Liam Baker. I love chatting with Liam Baker. And again, it's been discussed for a fair bit about the decision to move him across, but even before we spoke to him, just a big believer in what West Coast were trying to do. Who's got the votes?
He's his coach. He got him from West Perth to Subi and got him into the Richmond Tigers. So give Scully a pat on the back of that.
I was about to say that. He did fall in my lap, and thanks to Andrew Lockyer for that one, because he coached him at Colts. And, he wasn't going to play footy, Bakes. And then he came along, and he was a bit rough around the edges. They said he was a scrappy little bloke. They had a bit of mongrel in him, and, fair to say he did. And it's great to see how well he's going now.
To get him in originally, wasn't it? Like, to get him into the club. He had to get cleared, and there was a bit of a tussle, but it was all worth it in the end. Premiership.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. He's I would say it's a credit to him, what he's done now with his career. Two-time premiership player, now co-captain of a footy club. He's a ripper. What you see is what you get.
And again, there are guys when you just need, your word mongrel is a good one, you need some blokes with that out there, and he brings that to West Coast.
He's just a scrappy little dog off the farm, and he's like that little farm dog. Just go and get him, round him up.
I like him in my side.
Yeah,
little story, like when he first went, himself and Jack Graham first training session, when they first walked in, and it was supposed to be a light session. those two boys just went cracked in, and they went whack, and some of our boys were like, hey, this is the first session. It was like, no, we're here to train. I think the boys realised straight away what they were getting with those two players. And like I said, it's been a real win for the West Coast so far.
Tony Evans has got his little hobby farm up in Gingin or Ginjigarp or somewhere up in the hills there, and Jack and Bakes go up there one day a week, spend time with them. They just love it. Just get away from the city, go up on the farm. I think
wouldn't be far away.
I think Bakes has got some cattle up there.
Yeah, they've got about 20 cows or something. They go up there on a Wednesday.
They've got cattle. Everybody said you can put them on my farm, so they go up there and just the two of them and put their spurs on and just roll around the horses and the cattle and just have fun.
Bakes and fridge.
That's the type of Bakes they are.
Results today, West Coast have beaten North Melbourne by 17 points, 17-9, 111 to North Melbourne, 15-4, 94. So the Eagles with a win. They're 1-1, so too the Kangaroos. Port Adelaide accounted for Essendon in the earlier game by 63 points, 20 goals, 13, 133 to 10, 70. Though concerned for Connor Rosey with a leg injury in that game. Who's responsible for the votes? Is it you, Muddy? What have we got?
Oh, we've agreed, but it was quite difficult, really. I mean, which one do you want? We gave the
always ABC Football of the Year first.
Well, we've got 3 votes for Harley Reid. We just thought overall he was a lot cleaner, and the second one was difficult. 2 votes we've thrown to Jack Graham. Could have been a number of West Coast Eagles players, but I suppose North were controlling the game there for a bit, and it was out of luck. He's got 6 and Sheasel 40 possessions. It was pretty good, so we put him in for 1 vote.
Which one? Who got
Harry Sheasel.
Harry Sheasel, yeah.
He was quite a good player right throughout the whole day. And then...
Which means it's 3 votes for Harley Reid, 2 votes Jack Graham, 1 vote for Harry Sheasel in the ABC Football of the Year. So the Christian medal.
Same 2.
Yep. Reid goes 3, Graham goes 2.
And we'll throw in Ruben Jimmy because he was one that started in the second quarter that just kept cracking in. And that could have been Dev Robinson, Tim Kelly, could have been Baker, could have been Yowie, but Jimmy was the one that was not only had to play out of his weight division again on a tall forward, but he actually started attacking the ball and repelling it, which got West Coast going, I thought.
Can I give an honourable mention? Because one of the questions is how would he go against Sherry? And we know how good Sherry is. But
Flynn was right in there, yeah.
Yeah, Flinny competed really hard.
Yeah.
Like, Cherry was brutal. He hit a couple of the West Coast boys around contests.
Got Tim Kelly down here.
Yeah,
killed him.
He got Ali, he got a few. So, no, I think Flinny's, he really held his L there. But I think also he had great support from the other 2 young fellas in Duff Tyler and Archer Reid, and was able to Flinny to go to work. Great little goal, the old twinkle toes.
You don't get a medal just for effort, though, Clint.
No,
you got to do that every week, don't you, Scully?
I'll give you that. That wraps things up. Good debut, Jared Schofield. Thanks for joining us here on ABC Sport. Always good to have Chris Mortimer with us as well. Thanks for your company wherever you've been listening. Just wrapping up those 2 games again today. West Coast over North by 17. Port Adelaide over Essendon by 63. Thanks, Nick.